voices, utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system. The offenders are well supported. The SRT falls within the high range of risk for recidivism. Sir, this is your opportunity to express the report why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Thank you for giving me the chance to explain myself. I feel like I haven't, any other time I've made parole, I didn't feel like I was grown. This time they had me do tier 2 voices, and I voluntarily did a program called People Empowering People. And they also made me a mentor of it. So there I learned the steps that I needed, the tools that I needed for me to better myself and empower myself, not to make the choices I was making. I'm not a violent person. I just, excuse me for taking long, you know, it's on the spot. I didn't write nothing. It's coming straight from the heart, from the stomach. So, you know, so, but I just feel like I've grown a lot more than I have, and I feel like I can be productive. I have a plan, relapse prevention plan. I have a sponsor. My relapse prevention plan consists of working, going to meetings, getting involved with my community, community service, anything I can do to keep me busy and keep me away from the people that I associated myself with. I'm too old to be worrying about, oh, where can we hang out? What can we do? I have to focus on getting my life together. I'm 41 years old. I don't have a career. I want to turn my life around and be a drug counselor because I've had struggled with addiction my whole life. So while I was a mentor in the People Empowering People program, you know, I met a couple people that were in it, and they're in the community around my area, which is in London County, from a little town, Griswold. And he told me that when I come home, whenever that may be, to get in touch with him, I have his number, and he'll try to point me in the right direction because he turned his life around. He's 60-something years old now, and he's doing great.
Can you guys hear me?
He's a mentor. He does programs. He comes to the jail, talks, speaks. So I have a sponsor that I call twice a week while I'm in here. You know, I'm looking forward to building a better relationship out there with him, but he talks to me, and, you know, I talk to my father. My father's 88 years old, and, you know, he always tells me all the time, I want you to turn your life around before I go. I need you to turn your life around. And I keep telling him, Dad, I got you. But now I've always told him I got you when I mess up, but now I feel like it's time. It's my last chance. I'm getting too old. I'm not violent. I don't have no intentions of being violent. You know, I just have an addiction, and it gets in the way of my choices that I make. You know, I can't blame it on nobody else. I can't blame it on the addiction, even though it plays a part. It's all about my decisions I make, and I just have to better myself in my decisions and what I want out of life. And now I truly know what I need and have to do and want out of life. And the tools that I utilize from tier 2 is the relapse prevention plan. To have a plan when I go out there, I have employment. My friend, he owns a roofing company, so he told me as soon as I get out, I could go to work for him to try to put money in my pocket instead of going to the streets trying to hustle and get money. And he said he knows that I'm not going to stay with him for long because of the plans I have on being a drug counselor. So I told him, yeah, I'll definitely come to work. So I have a job. My family's supportive. Even though I lost a few members of my family, there's only a few of us left. And it's like every time I come to jail, I hurt my family. And I realize that now. I'm always, you know, me. But really, when you come to jail, you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting your loved ones out there. And I never really realized that until now. You know, so I just hope maybe you guys grant me one more chance and I can prove to you I can do it. I know I messed up.
All right, Mr. Andrews, we're going to ask you some questions, okay?
Yeah.
You've been here before. We'll begin with my colleague, Mr. Paul. Thank you.
Thank you,
how's everybody
Madam
doing
Chair.
today? Thank you. What
good
up,
morning,
Kim?
Mr. Andrews.
Do you think you could go to work on a roof?
So, just to start with, I mean, I'm concerned here. You were on parole, and you had a gun on parole. right?
Correct.
Like,
Yes,
we're supposed to be getting out there and following the rules, right?
absolutely.
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
The situation with the gun, I mean, at the end of the day, I did have possession of it. When they found it, it was in a shed. My friend left it at my house. I found it. So what I did was put it in my shed. I wasn't running around the town with it. I wasn't going nowhere with it. So when parole came to my house, I had texted my friend that has a gun permit and asked him if he wanted to buy the gun. And he told me, no, he couldn't do nothing because of his paperwork. Me, I should have at least tried to call an officer and say, I didn't know, I would, I have a felon, so I don't know if I could call the police station and be like, I have a gun that was left here. Can you guys come get it? I don't want to get charged. I was scared of that. So I try to go about it it's not right, but I try to give it to someone that has a gun permit. He said, no, you couldn't do nothing with paperwork. So I put it up in my shed. When the police came, they looked, my parole officer searched for it, looked for it, took me back to jail to what's that, timeout program. So while I was there, they followed my the ankle monitor, seen that I was outside. They went to my shed and got the gun. The gun did not have a clip and there was no bullets. But that doesn't justify the fact that I didn't, I made the wrong choice and tried to get rid of it and held on to. I should just threw that thing away. I made a mistake. I'm not a bad kid. I'm not a bad man. I don't have no intentions of being out in the streets with a gun or anything like that. So, I know I made a mistake and I own up to that. It's just, my choices was clouded too from using drugs. I understand where you're coming from, sir.
And if I back up a step, right?
Yes.
Gun was left there. Who you hanging around with that's got a gun?
Now you're absolutely right. I did not know that because I let my friend stay at my house while I was incarcerated to watch, to take care of the household, help my father out and everything like that. So when I came home, I started cleaning. I told him he had to leave before I came home. He couldn't be at my house because he was on probation. So I was like, bro, I got parole, you have to leave. He's like, all right, no problem, I'll be out of there. So when I came home, I was cleaning. He left it in the closet in the room that he was staying in. So I'm like, what the is this? Like, bro, I'm on parole. So I had called him twice, asked him to come get it. He ended up getting locked up. So that's when I decided to put it up in the shed. I had no intentions of doing any illegal stuff with it.
Are you guys buying what he's selling?
So
I'm not.
The other piece here is that in December, you get a ticket for THC.
Yes, so I had lost, I got PTSD and everything else, so I'm prescribed for marijuana, but I was going through a tough time. I lost my sister and my cellie, seeing how I was aggravated and, I just didn't, I was going through a tough time and my cellie offered it to me and said, hey, this will calm you down, man, just before you do something stupid. And I ended up smoking and they popped it random on us. And
so when did you take tier 2?
Why did I take tier 2? To get me off of cocaine?
No, when? Before that ticket?
Yes, I did, yes.
July.
Why? Did I take tier 2 to?
No, I mean.
No, I said July.
You don't need to.
In July.
Yeah, you don't need to say why. We know why.
Yes.
But it's like, I'm in prison. Drugs shouldn't even be here, but they are.
Absolutely.
And it took tier 2, and instead of trying to deal with something really bad in a way that's not in an addictive way, I choose to smoke instead, right?
If you will.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm sure the smoke instead leads to crack and leads to fentanyl and leads to stuff like that if you were out here. Right? Because once you open the door is open.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yes, sir.
So you said that you had a relapse prevention plan out here. You
Yes.
said that you have a sponsor.
Yes.
You have a sponsor. What sponsor is that person?
Sponsored
For what?
for crack cocaine for addiction. For addiction, like you know what I mean? As far as the rooms doing classes and everything like that.
Hey, I'll
For
be
me,
right back.
for myself to not
Kind of classes.
yeah. Programs like NAAA, the rooms.
Have you engaged with C-Car at all?
C-Card, no, yes, they won't let me because my ticket clears in April. So they said after that, then I can attend.
And then, so your ticket clears in April, what's your plan from there?
My plan is I still go to NA and AA, but my plan is to stay sober and stay active in these rooms and groups and meetings and keep talking to my sponsor and just stay sober and work on my relapse prevention.
Think a good plan might be to get out of H-Storm?
Huh?
Think a good plan maybe to get out of H-Storm and to maybe try to get into E-Dorm?
Yes, absolutely. That would definitely be a good one. Yes,
Because you need help.
I know I do.
You need help.
I know I do, sir.
41, and you need to stop doing this.
You're absolutely right.
I don't have anything.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.
Hey, I gotta start it back up. I'll be right back.
Did I read somewhere, Mr. Andrews, that you started using drugs at the age of 35?
Yes. No, the hard drugs, yes. Cocaine.
Oh, you started using crack cocaine and fentanyl at 35?
Damn.
Yes.
What did you use
No.
prior to that?
It was around, it was around 35, 30, yes. Yep.
What were you using prior to that?
Marijuana and alcohol. And cocaine.
So you've always been an addict, but you've just upped the ante a little bit.
Yes, yes.
I mean, you do see people around you dying from fentanyl overdoses. Why would you choose to increase your drug use and poisoning of your body?
It's a sickness. I can't, it's just,
I mean, you do understand for our purposes, you really have not shown to be a good candidate for a community release with 19 failures.
19.
yes,
Good
I
Lord.
understand that.
Lord
I mean,
Jesus.
your parole alone in a year and a half, you violated your parole 4 times.
So bad.
Yes.
What do you guys think about that? This talking about
And
that his friend.
the offenses are increasing as well.
His friend left his. Come on.
It's
now.
too much.
Knock it
And
off.
with this recent disciplinary report, I mean, you knew you were coming to parole. You had just finished tier 2 a few months
19.
prior. It's like you're
Thank you, Donna.
sabotaging yourself.
This guy.
You need to do more. There's more work to be done, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're not lying.
All
That's
right.
why
I don't think I
that's
can add
why-
much more. Go ahead.
No, that's why I've been since then, I've been trying to get into other classes. I've been going to NAAA while I'm here. I've just been doing whatever I can to just prove that, you know.
Yeah. And a buddy left the gun at my house is not a good explanation for
Hey,
someone
that's
who's
what I'm
on
saying.
parole.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Ms. Applesessen?
Thank you. So, Mr. Andrews, in terms of your programming and gaining insight, have you come to a point where you understand what's causing you to continue to offend? I mean, my colleague mentioned sabotaging yourself, and that's when you look at your criminal history, that's kind of what I see as well. Have you thought about what might be causing this? Is all of these crimes that you've committed, were they all intertwined with your addictions?
Yes, my addictions, my depression.
Ah, wow.
I just once I start getting like, you know, I get depressed and I just get in that I get the fuckets and I'm like, excuse my language, but you know, and it's just bad and I spiral out of control. But now I've never had a sponsor before. It's like he's helped me, like me talking about my problems, everything that I need to, what I need to do, the steps I need to make, why am I making these mistakes? You know, we talk about a lot of that stuff and what I need to do when I get out, as far as just baby steps I have to take to fight this addiction.
You know, I'd like to leave you with, I think you're making good progress. You're taking the right programs. You're starting to see that insight. I think it's great that you're a mentor in the People Empowering People program, and you got a great review in terms of your work in the laundry. So I encourage you to keep working on yourself, because I think at 41, I think you're getting there.
Thank you. I feel in my from my soul that I know I can do this.
Okay.
Come on,
All right,
Mal.
give us a few minutes to discuss your
Hey,
case and we'll get back to
Come
you
on,
shortly.
you failed 19
Thank you
times
very
already,
much.
and you're gonna make it on the
Thank you.
20th time? I think not.
So-
I might have looked like I was born yesterday,
Mr. Andrews
but I definitely
has
wasn't
tried a
born
couple of
yesterday
these
night,
programs, and
if you will.
He's risen to the level of a
This guy.
mentor and people empowering people.
What do you guys think? Let's go ahead and get a poll going.
However,
Should they let this guy out again for
parole
a 20th
supervision in
time?
the last 5 years, which are 3 different times,
Jesus. This guy
have
is comedy.
all ended not well.
Poll's gonna be up on your left, right here.
He
Somewhere up
got
here.
the DR in December,
Let's see. Should we let him out
which there he made the decision, instead of dealing with what he needed to deal with was to use drugs again. And when that happens, we get offenses like what we have here. I certainly don't want to discourage
again?
Mr.
Negative,
Andrews,
if you will.
but I don't see how we can do something for him today.
Yup.
Yeah, there's no way. The ticket hasn't even cleared yet, and he's in front of
Right.
parole. I mean,
Right.
Absolutely.
you know, he's got a long way to go. He's got, you know, almost 3 years to go. So I hate to deny him outright, but I don't know what more there is. for
Max
him
him
to do.
out. Max this fool out. What do you
What are
guys
your
think? Should they
thoughts?
max him out? Let him complete his whole sentence?
I think that there's work to be done, but I think I don't know that I want to go to the end of sentence. I think it would be worth a rehear if we could do positive programs. Honestly, I know we can't escalate his addiction services programs, but I just think that
88% says nope. Don't let
I
him
don't know.
out.
But
I would be willing to rehear.
he has an
Rehear.
opportunity there to advocate for himself. There's 2 dorms there,
They
3 dorms there
100%
that are
said no.
very
Yeah.
positive places for him to be.
Well, no, she doesn't want to let him out.
I'd have to go at least a year.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I agree.
If you will.
okay. In the matter of Jason Andrews, amendment number 288319, I'll move to deny parole at this time. We'll rehear the case in March of 26. Are you guys? Okay?
Yeah.
In 1 year, March of 2026, reasons for denial, poor institutional adjustment, inadequate evidence of offender change. We're going to recommend that you continue with positive programming and avoid any future disciplinary reports. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are you in favor? Did
Aye.
you say aye? Okay. All right. Do you understand what we're doing? We're going to bring you back in a year so you can continue to work on yourself
Okay, when do you guys bring me back? So I
in
know.
a year.
Okay. Thank you.
Good luck to you.
This concludes the hearing for Jason.
Right, Rich?
Amendment number 2888.
Hey, he obviously has to recognize that he has some issues, some deep-rooted issues, and he needs to get down to the bottom of it. He might not be ready. You know, hey, it's like that sometimes. If you're not ready, you're not ready. But you got to be honest with yourself. If you're gonna continue what you're gonna do, just say it, or just do it like Nike, if you will. I'm not sure how much time he had left before his sentence was up. I didn't catch that part. I had been in and out. Let's see right here. Let me shut this down really quick. No, open it back up.
Hello, Mr. Cuban.
3 years.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Maybe
Good.
those
We're
3
gonna
years
go
will
ahead and
help
get
him
started
out.
with your case.
Yes.
Morning. My name is Rob Shamroy. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025. This is hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Rules. Board members are present this morning. State their names on the record. Certified that have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike Full.
And I'm Alex Sasso.
Sir, please state your name and then we have the record.
Jose Cubes, 233-612.
Chairman, the production consideration for qualification for Hope.
Hey, thank you for that.
May number 233-612 is serving a sentence of 7.5 years, followed by 4.5 years special parole, 4 counts robbery first, violation of probation with underlying offense, 2 counts failure to appear second, violation of probation with the underlying offense is threatening second and assault third, and a violation of probation with the underlying offense is failure to appear second and assault third. As of today, records reflect the parole date of September 14, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It's been reviewed and shows the offenders completed the following programs: Tier 2, Tier 4, domestic violence and voices. Utilizing a statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the RT falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. Sir, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. May begin.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank you for your time. I do understand that parole is a privilege, not something that's just given, and I appreciate this opportunity to be heard.
Hey, thank you, Kim.
I want to apologize to the victims in my case, those people who were in the business establishments that I robbed, my ex-wife, my children, and everyone else who I've hurt. And I did write something. Almost 6 years ago, I was a horrible person. After my 20-year marriage ended in divorce, I fell into a very deep depression. I relapsed on drugs, and cocaine brought me to my knees. I am guilty of all my crimes that I was charged with and deserve my sentence. I am ashamed of my actions and remorseful for the people that I hurt. I hated the person I've become, and I realized that I am fully responsible for becoming that person. So I decided to hold myself accountable and recreate myself into the man that I want to be: a good father, trustworthy, unselfish, drug-free, and loving. Faith without works is dead, so I got busy working on myself over these last 6 years. It wasn't a perfect journey. I've had some few bumps in the road, few DRs for being selfish with the phones and taking phone calls that I wasn't supposed to. Also losing my temper and speaking crazy to a correctional officer. But besides that, I also got into every single program and class that was available to help me to become a better man. I completed not one, 2 domestic violence classes, 2 drug programs, a parenting course, a carpentry class. I participated in the American Vet Dog Program, training dogs for disabled veterans. And I also did the Prison of Peace program, where I became a peer mentor. I am a full-time student at Aston Community College, currently on the dean's list, working on my business degree. I need 6 more credits to graduate. And I have completed Tier 4 program, which is programmed in housed in a therapeutic community. And I was a mentor in that community over at Osborne before I got transferred here. I am also a member of NA and AA. I attend 3 to 5 meetings a week. And I've recently completed the Recovery Coach Academy through CCAR. And I plan on joining my local office at 142 Temple Street in New Haven, Connecticut as a recovery coach. I really feel like I found my calling in this. As far as my plan for when I go home, besides CCAR, which is going to be my #1 thing, I also previously held a real estate license in Connecticut, and I am going to renew that upon my release in order to work as a part-time realtor. I have a very strong support network, which includes my business partner. We do have a small business set up ready for me to go as soon as I come home. It's called Connecticut Home Solutions. And I have a very strong support also, as well as NA sponsors, family, and religious services. So I do hope and pray that you guys give me an opportunity to get out a little sooner. But again, I understand that it's a privilege and not a right. And I thank you very much for your time. That's what I have.
All right. Thank you for your statement. We appreciate that. I missed one thing that you said at the end there. What is the shop that you own?
So my business partner and I have a small business called CT House Flippers, but we recently changed the name to CT Home Solutions.
Home
and
solution.
Yes.
What do you do?
So it's going to be a full-service real estate company. Everything from sales to acquisitions to rehabilitations, and also training programs.
All right. You've done really well. You've taken all the programs, you know. I did not have that you were in college courses. Are you taking courses right now?
Yes, I have orientation on the 20th, tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow. I need 6 more credits to complete. So I'm trying to get my my last 2
Wait a minute.
classes.
Have you been taking classes throughout your incarceration?
Yes.
And through the
Yes,
program?
Yes.
And how many credits do you have to date?
I have 54 credits. 54.
Wait, I did have, these are the 5. I did have, you have an associate's degree from Ms. Nuntuck. No?
No, I'm working
You're
on my
working on your,
associate.
okay,
Yes.
yeah, can't read my own writing, sorry, I have one. And the American Vet Dog Program, do you have a dog? Are you a handler?
No, that was at McDougal CI.
Okay. Yeah,
While I
how
was
long did you do
there.
that for?
I did it for about 6 months before I got transferred. I got transferred, and I did have a dog. His name was Brady. He was a black Labrador. He's actually down in Florida now as an emotional support dog. So we trained him on how to help disabled veterans, and then he's actually in the community helping someone now.
That's great. Okay, well, I'm glad you've been able to give back and do all this work while you're incarcerated, because you certainly did take from the community, right? I mean,
Yes.
I mean, these offenses are disturbing. Like, you were robbing everybody. And I understand it was for drug money. You were using crack cocaine?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, don't do the Chris Act.
So it sounds like you have a really good plan. You're very involved in the sober community while you're incarcerated, and you're going to continue that on the outside. You have a job lined up. You got a sentence modification, right? Last year?
Yes.
So
I
you
did.
got a half year off. They added it to the special parole, but you're going to be doing well. So that's not an issue, right?
And
Right.
I wouldn't let this guy
Yeah,
sell
I mean,
sell me a litter of puppies.
It really would be a shame to waste
Let
all
alone
of
a
this
house.
work that you've done. So I really hope that you'll be successful this time. Yeah, I mean, I have so many notes here. You didn't finish the domestic violence program while you were in the community, so you'll need to do that.
Domestic
You understand
violence?
when you go out, right?
Yes, I do understand that.
But you've taken it inside, you said already twice, so that shouldn't be a problem. You want to sponsor to a friend's house. You know, I did read the tickets. We don't like any tickets, but I understand there's no violence. You're not
plus.
using drugs.
That's a plus.
They really were stupid, just poor choices that you made. You understand that now. Sure.
Very poor
Yeah.
choices, yes.
Are you in contact with your kids?
Unfortunately, no, not at this time.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. You know, I hope that someday you can repair those relationships and be a better father to them.
Hey, I gotta
Well, that is one of
restart
my,
the stream. I'll be right
my
back.
top priorities. I know it's gonna take time. I heard them, and they don't want to talk to me.
Yeah.
And I understand. So hopefully I can show them something with my new life that'll make them want to talk to me again.
Yeah, good. So what does a day in the life of the change unit look like for you?
So I am involved in actually facilitating groups, and I was a mentor at Osborne. Here, I'm just a regular guy in the community. I haven't been here long enough to be a mentor because I just got here.
Okay.
But it's in me. I just, I see a young guy that's not really understanding what NA or AA is about, and I just feel drawn to him to talk to him about how important it is to deal with addiction.
Yeah.
Because without, addressing that, there's so many, including myself, so many of us in here now who addiction is a big reason why we make so many bad decisions. So a day for me in the change unit is facilitating groups and talking to young guys.
What are the
about
groups there? What groups are you facilitating?
So NA,
Okay.
Narcotics Anonymous meetings.
Yeah.
I also facilitate a Alcoholics Anonymous meeting.
Okay,
And then there are groups being called all day long, that you could just volunteer to go to. So I try to get to as many as those as I can
okay,
Up, Hillary.
and just stay involved in those positive conversations all day long.
okay. And you have school, of course. Do you work in the facility?
Not in this facility. I haven't been able to get a job yet. No,
Yeah,
thank
well,
you.
it sounds like you're busy anyway.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna turn it over to my colleagues, see what questions they have. Ms. Applesessen?
What do you guys think?
Yeah,
What do you guys
so
feel
you
about
had
this guy?
referenced
Should they let him
the
go?
divorce as a critical point in terms of increasing your depression and your drug use. But your criminal history goes back to 96 as an adult.
Yes.
Were drugs an integral part of everything that was happening through that time?
Thank you.
Yes, I started using drugs at a very early age. I was about 13 years old when I first experimented with cocaine. And I was, it all went downhill from there. So I started making poor decisions at a very early age.
In terms of the support network, you've referenced your business partner, and obviously you'll be in the recovery community. You've talked about trying to rebuild relationships with your family. Is there anybody other than your children in your family that you have relationships with?
My mother is she's one of my rocks. Her and my business partner are my two best friends in the world. And I talk to her often.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.
I'm also.
All right, so it really does appear that Mr. Cubans is doing great. He's involved in so many things, and he has all the tools. He just has to get out there and prove that he can be successful for this 4.5 years of special parole coming up. So I would grant, got to do domestic violence. I mean, do we want to list the banks from 6 years ago? No, or not the bank, but there were.
I gotta
no.
start the
All
big
right,
channel
so
over again.
just
My
domestic
apologies, I'll
violence,
be
anything
back.
else? No? No, okay. All right, in the matter of Jose Cubans, inmate number 233612, I'll move to grant parole on or after September 14th, 2025, with the additional condition of a domestic violence program in the community. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, sir, congratulations. Use all these tools, okay? And certainly sounds like you're going to be successful.
Okay,
We wish you the best.
thank you so much. Were those my stipulations? Those.
Yeah, so you'll get a list of standard parole conditions, and we added one, domestic violence program. We want you to take
It's
that
a
in the
job
community.
interview.
Okay.
We're doing
Okay.
job
Okay.
interviews.
You'll get it in writing.
You want to
Thank
join
you.
in?
Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care.
This concludes the hearing for Jose Cubans, inmate number 233612.
All right. Hey, I want to go ahead and thank you all for coming to a brand new episode of You Have a Collect Call From or at Collect Call From. I keep on cutting one of the streams because they keep on hitting me. If you want to go ahead and watch the stream uninterrupted, I would suggest you jump over to one of our
Thank you.
other
How you doing,
platforms
Mr. Davis?
at your will,
Good morning.
if you will.
Gonna go ahead and get started with your case.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Officer Sherman. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. Following board members are present this afternoon. If I state their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information for preparation of this.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good afternoon, Michael.
And I'm Ellen Zappo-Sasser.
Sir, please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Dante Davis, 3888838.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Dante Davis, inmate number 388838. He's serving a sentence of 20 years, execution suspended after 8 years, followed by 5 years probation for criminal possession of a firearm. And he received a suspended 12-year sentence, followed by 5 years probation for sale of narcotic substance, which is consecutive to his 8-year period of expiration. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of June 28, 2025. There is no victim in court in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It's been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the following programs: Tier 4, Voices, and Embracing Fatherhood, utilizing statewide collaborative system, defendants overall scoring the SRT falls within the high range for risk for recidivism. So this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. Maybe again.
You're gonna have to wait till September. That's when he's gonna get out.
I wrote a little something here if you guys could bear with me.
Yeah, sure.
I'd like to thank the board for seeing me this morning, as I know that parole is not a given, it is earned. Today I come before you asking for a chance to be released back into the community after about 3.5 years of incarceration. Along this journey, I've been through various stages of change in order to undo my former lifestyle, which consisted of criminal behaviors and thinking. It didn't happen overnight for me, but through my willingness to be a better person, I transformed my way of thinking. And today I can reflect on how I got to such a point in my life where I'm clear-headed and steadfast about my life, my future goals, and how I conduct myself moving forward. I got the Osborne CI in November of 2021. As I got to the cell designated for me, I realized I was in a real prison. The bars were reminiscent of prisons I had only seen in movies. I immediately started to think of ways I could get out of this prison and get to another one that could possibly have better conditions. I learned fast that wasn't going to be possible. However, someone mentioned to me that if I got a job in the kitchen, I would get moved to a dorm setting that was a much better living situation than the cells I was currently housed in. So I did. I signed up for a job, something I hadn't had in probably 16 years. Shortly after I was accepted for the job, they moved to the dorm where kitchen workers were housed at. Started working in the kitchen the next day in the scullery where most people start. I was nervous and uncomfortable, and it felt like a tough job. It was dirty, hot, and it smelled bad all the time. As a couple weeks passed by, I started to enjoy it, though. The camaraderie between my coworkers and I set in on me. We set goals amongst each other and worked in the scullery to keep it clean, and we worked together to be as diligent and efficient as possible. I started to take pride in my work, which didn't go unnoticed by the supervisors, who then promoted me to the backup position, which is a position of a person in charge of making sure the child line has all the necessary items of food needed for the specific meal being served at the time. After that, I was promoted to diet cook, where I took a lot of pride in the next 6 months of my responsibility. So much that even when the kitchen block was moved back to the same cells I had wanted to escape from so bad, it didn't bother me because I was so focused on the job and started to feel like it wasn't work all the time. I felt a sense of purpose. I also realized at the time that I had better start checking off my list of things for my OAP after conversations with other inmates letting me know that if I intended to go home on any kind of community release, that it was important. So I signed up for Tier 4, and a month or so later, I had to leave the kitchen. I got into Tier 4 1 year into my sentence, and although I had not gotten into any trouble and had a job, I had not yet considered what my future was going to be like once I left prison. Tier 4 was about to change all of that. Once I got there and saw how the program was run with all kinds of structure, 165 rules that I wasn't used to at all, I contemplated leaving, but I knew I needed to complete it, so I stayed and followed the rules and tried my best to coast through the program. By the time I was there for a month, I had completed phase 1 and moved on to phase 2 of the program, where I started to participate in group discussions more and found myself being an active member of the community, volunteering for chores and attending more meetings that were peer-led in the unit. Before I knew it, I had learned some things about addiction, even though I had always considered myself to be a person who had no need for that kind of information. Fast forward a couple more months and I'm in phase 3, almost done with the program. And just as life does to so many people, I was smacked in the face with reality. I got the news December 16, 2022, that my brother had died just a month short of his 21st birthday. I was hurt and felt alone, away from my family, left to deal with this on my own. One of my Tier 4 counselors called me down to speak with me after learning of the death of one of my family members and asked me who and what happened. I explained that it was my brother and that he had died from an acute, immediate intoxication from fentanyl in a mix of his anxiety medication. After sharing her similar story of losing a sister to addiction with me, her next words would help pivot my life into a whole new direction by having the courage in that moment to say to me, how does it feel that your brother has passed away due to the very same drug that you were in the community dealing to other people? At that moment, I got a glimpse of the weight that I now had to carry on my shoulders and in my heart. I was embarrassed and ashamed, especially knowing that I was the one who had exposed my brother to that lifestyle. I was his older brother who had raised him, and he looked up to me so much. Every day I contemplated what I could do to make this pain go away, and I had no answers, and I floated through the days that followed. Shortly after, I got a ticket for using someone else's phone pin to make extra calls. I started to use the phone excessively and selfishly, and didn't think of others who wanted to call their family and loved ones. My criminal thinking had crept back in, and I had made excuses to myself that I had a death in my family and it should be okay, but it wasn't. And in reality, I was having distorted thinking. I was removed from the program just short of finishing because I had a Class A ticket, which is the protocol. The next day, the unit manager of the program called me to her office and asked me what I wanted to do. I asked her what she meant by that, and she said, you can come back in 60 days, resume where you left off, and finish the program and graduate and move on. Or you can come back in 30 days, start the program all over from scratch, become a leader and a mentor eventually because you have the time left on your sentence to do it. And I know you can do it, Dante. I knew right away and didn't hesitate to tell her I'd come back in the 30 days. I knew what I had to do. I came back in 30 days after being in the cell with someone who got high every single day. I was ready to help people like I had tried to help my cellmate. I got back to tier 4, started over and paid attention, ever so detailed this time around, every step of the way. I became an elder and then a mentor in phase 2, which usually you can't do until you're in phase 3. Taking pride once again in a job that I never figured to have. And this time I was helping people and myself, giving me a feeling of gratification and gratitude for the position of that the councils had entrusted in me. I learned as much as I possibly could about addiction and what the people dealing with the sickness go through daily. I want to take this time to apologize to the entire addiction community today for my actions over those past years. I was ignorant to your circumstances and selfishly taking advantage of you and your families. I want you to know that I've taken the steps to be a more productive human being and have gained the necessary tools to make amends.
You guys are bad.
Community. I am now a certified recovery coach through CCAR. I'm currently being housed at Cybulski CI in the change unit, where every day we recite a philosophy reminding us that change begins today. I'm still learning every day through meetings, programs, and a recovery-based community ran by Council Supervisor Gaudet, where we have countless tools to utilize to remain true to the recovery process. I also have taken the real estate practice exam twice, passing with a 90 and a 95 score of the Catherine Pancake Real Estate Practice and Law book.
Another real estate
agent? As I'm going to
agent?
pursue being a real estate agent, I gained a passion for it studying the book, and I feel very strongly that I will do well in that field. I've also secured a job offer from Family Options, located at 115 Waterbury Road in Prospect, Connecticut, as a client support coordinator. I've secured this through a family friend named Candace Eggleston Regan. She's the executive director of the company. I also secured a job offer from Bazzoodles at 400 Industrial Ave, Cheshire, Connecticut, as a selector. My brother-in-law's been there for over 10 years, and his supervisor has made countless offers to me. His name is Gasmore Salary. He's spoken to him recently, and that offer is still current. Also, I'll be volunteering at the C-Car Center in Waterbury on 132 Grand Street. I've had optimistic employment conversation over the past year with Melissa, who is the program manager of C-Car for DOC. This is a short glimpse of who I was, who I am today, and who I have carefully planned to be in the future. And I'm extremely humbled by this experience, but optimistic about what my life will be moving forward for me. Again, I'd like to apologize to addiction community, addiction community for my poor decisions of my past.
Hey, the board's on TikTok right now, and they're looking at all the comments. That's what the board's doing right now.
I'd also like to apologize to my mom, my children, my children's mother, and my sisters for the heartache I've caused over the past 3.5 years. I'm sorry, and thank you for your time.
Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Davis, for that statement. We definitely appreciate it. We're going to ask you some questions, and then we'll deliberate and give you our decision here today. We'll begin with my colleague, Ms. Zapostassi.
I wouldn't let this
Good
guy
afternoon, Mr. Davis.
sell me a litter of kittens,
You know,
if you will.
I found your statement to be very compelling because as I read through some of the reports about you, it was really hard for me to see who the real Dante Davis was, because it was a study in contrast. You're a businessman profiting off of the drug trade, making thousands of dollars a week, and that's how you supported your family. And you touted yourself as a good dad, as someone who cared about his family. And that's hard to understand when you know that. How would you feel if people were selling your kids the drugs that you were peddling and caught them up in that cycle? So it's good to see that you've actually, you know, the lens of what you're looking at now is a little clearer in terms of what you did to the community, because it appeared to me by the amount of money that was discussed in the police reports, you had a far-reaching customer base in terms of the effects that your drugs were having on a community. So I appreciate that you've made this significant effort in acknowledging that and apologizing and are remorseful for the role that you've played. And you've had personal loss that is very, very clearly related to this. So I hope that in fact was something that's motivating you.
Hey, what is he in prison for?
Your criminal history showed in some cases a very blatant lack of respect for the law and compliance for what we expect in terms of public safety.
It's a job
people
interview.
Following rules. So that being said, that's that's the negative piece. I do want to pivot to, just emphasizing what you've brought to us today is someone who appears to be embracing change and wanting to be a better person. And your program piece is important. I appreciate your explanation about what happened your first go around in tier 4, and that makes sense. And I appreciate the fact that you are, in essence, owning everything that has transpired. This was a 30-page police report, which, is a little above average, but there was a significant amount of community effort put into this sting that they finally had that arrest. It was a task force effort. The community damage that's done there is significant. So the fact that you've worked hard in programming is important to me. You've talked a lot about the tier 4 and you've covered voices. You've done fatherhood, which is important because you have young kids. And I appreciate the connection to CCAR. Moving forward, do you feel that you can make a living at the level that which you're accustomed with the jobs that you've outlined?
Yes, I do. Well, first of all, it's, for me, the CCAR is more about making amends to the community. I lost my brother to the very same thing I was putting on the community. So that to me is more from my heart.
The irony,
than
right?
anything. As far as the money, I've learned in here, money isn't everything. And for a long time, that's how I lived my life. And I'm being honest, that was what I did every day. I thought about money. In here, I learned that, losing my brother and being away from my young children, there's more important things in life. And CCAR starts at $25 an hour. I've done my math. I could make a living off of that. And I feel like I have a passion for the real estate agent field. Obviously it relates to some of what I've done before. I believe, my mom used to tell me all the time, you should be a car salesman or something, So, doing that part-time, being a real estate agent part-time.
Thank you.
I think I could do pretty well, working full-time at CCAR and doing real estate part-time.
Professional.
Because this is going to be a big change for you. This is legal employment, which you have not in your history.
I'm excited about it. Well,
thank you for talking to me.
Thank you. I mean, you did 10 months of the tier 4 program, so you learned a lot. Yeah.
No, I did almost 2 years in tier 4.
Oh, 2 years.
Yeah, I was a mentor
because you
for
stayed
almost
on
2 years.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember
That's
when
great.
I was there when you guys came and saw us. I was on that panel of
Okay.
guys that explained what it was.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, it is definitely nice to see all of the positive change. And, we got so many support letters, one from your counselor in the tier 4 program and excellent evaluation. So it's very clear that your mindset has changed and, whatever the catalyst was for that, it's a great thing. And I can't wait to see what you do in the community. I think we're all on the same page, right? Standard parole condition?
Yes.
Yeah, I had nothing else. Yeah. All right. In the matter of Dante Davis, amendment number 388838, I'll move to grant parole effective June 28th, 2025 with standard parole conditions. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right. Congratulations, sir. You've been granted and good luck to you. We wish you the
Damn,
best.
that was fast.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Number 3888.
Hey, how is everybody doing today? Welcome to a new episode of You Have a Collect Call From. And today they're definitely moving a lot quicker than yesterday, man. Yesterday was a long day, man. It was an 8-hour stream yesterday. Jesus. Anyhow, hey, I do appreciate you guys. Hey, what up, Tita? And what up? Shout out to everybody that's in here. And also, don't forget, if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. It's free 99 if you will. Next.
And Mr. Michael Bull, there will be communication being set special parole stipulations for Derek Gray in the company 05-236.
Okay, so we have, let's see, mental health eval, there's a victim, and halfway house. Do you have anything else? All right, in the matter of Derek Gray, amendment number
Oh, we get to see
305.
today.
236. Look to set the following special parole conditions. No contact with victim, initials MPS, halfway house placement, and a mental health evaluation and treatment if deemed necessary. All in favor? Aye.
Damn, giving you guys behind the scenes over here, if you will. What do you guys think about the behind the scenes? We get to see what they really look like over here. Look at them all professional. You would think they were at home in their underwear, but nope. Here they are. Look, they're in their conference room. Are they? What the? That's it. Snap! But don't worry, we have another one. They're running 2 today, so let's go ahead and switch it on over, if you will. Don't go anywhere. We're just switching over to the other stream, if you will. Give me a moment here, and give me 2 moments, and we're gonna swap it over really quick. Give me a minute here. Just slow down, slow down. All right. Let's see. All right, just give me a moment. I'm switching it over right now. I'm trying to get the other stream going, and once it starts up, then we'll go ahead and continue. See here. How is everybody doing today? Let me see. Did the last guy get out? Yeah, he did. That dude. Hey, you know what? I would rather have that guy come out than some of those guys that got released on Friday with them bad charges. Hey, has anybody seen that video that I clipped? The Wizinator? I had no idea what a Wizinator was up until I just found out that day. I had never heard of it. That was definitely interesting, if you will. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and get it up on the screen. And there we go. All right. So let me see. What is it? A Wizinator? What you gotta go check out the video. Go check out what a Wizinator is, if you will, if you really want to know what it is. All right, let me get the names of the individuals coming on today. Give me a moment here.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
Jamie Nolasco.
Okay, give me 1 second, sir.
All right. We're gonna OT today. Let me see. We're in Connecticut, and this is Connecticut for anybody that's just coming in. This is the whole state of Connecticut. These are prison board parole hearings. I know you guys always have questions and whatnot. Somebody might be coming in. I just got here. What's going on? What do you mean what's going on? We're doing a job interview.
Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Torres. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning. I'm panel member Barry.
Good morning, Robert Sazowskis.
Nancy Turner.
Morning.
I don't do
Please
MD.
state your name and inmate number for the record.
My name is Jamie Nolasco, and my MA number is 444179.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Jamie Nolasco, number 444179. He is serving a sentence of 6 years with 2 years and 6 months to serve, followed by 3 years of probation for carrying a pistol without a permit and threatening first. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of August 27, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows that since his last hearing, DOC records indicate that he completed voices 2 weeks after his hearing.
It
He has
sounded
not
like
completed
60.
any additional programs.
That's what I heard.
Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the SRT falls within the low range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Mr. Alvarado, tell us why you think you deserve parole, sir.
I think I'm ready because, this time is like a therapy for me. So I'm trying to do the best for my kid. So I'm trying to go home, even in the bracelets, I just trying to make it to the program, home and work. It don't matter how long I be with the bracelet on. It don't matter. I just trying to do good for my
Not
kids.
the CL20.
I never haven't been home yet. So I'm trying to make it the best good possible to be home. So I can support my family. And I can be like, you guys can put me any program, I could do it, be in the bracelets. That's my goal. to go home and survive for my kids.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that information, Mr. Alvarado. This is a rehear for you. You were before the board last August,
Yes.
and they asked you to do a few things. So we will discuss those things, and once we are done asking you our questions, we'll deliberate and give you our decision.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Best of luck to you, sir. Mr. Sazowskis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
So at the last hearing, they asked that you complete anger management, tier 2, and voices before this hearing. And you did finish voices. You finished the voices program?
Yes, sir.
And you were in the tier 2 program, right? But you
Yes, sir. It was an issue with the lady with the tier 2 program that she got kicked out of the program and then we couldn't complete the program.
okay. Did they tell you if you're gonna start it again?
They never told me nothing. So they just moved me to Osborne and after that I can't finish. I couldn't start it.
You know, I read through your interview with the parole officer, and she was asking you about guns and the gun that you had. And you talked about how you, that you like guns, you know? And
Yeah, I used to not no more, you know, because I want to be in there for my kids. So I got a lot of history with that. So I don't want to do nothing to do with guns. So she told me I got raised trade for 5 years. I said it's fine.
Okay.
Like, you know, I could be raised trade for 10 years, fine. Like I'm not dealing with guns.
So you don't plan to try to get a gun when you get out? You're not gonna try?
No, sir.
I already got
You
it.
understand you're on the deadly
It's
weapon
waiting for me.
offender registry, like you said, so you'll have to register and they'll
He
be
didn't have
checking
to
on you
get
to
it.
make sure that you don't have guns.
Yes, sir. She explained that to me, and I told her I could be 10 years. See, I moved from different address. I give her my address.
If you
I just trying to do good.
what up, K?
She told me, "Oh, you want to go to Half a House, or you want to be in Bristol?" I said, "My wife, she got her house, so I want to be home. Put me in the Bristol for whole years, it'll matter. I just want to make it from home to work and any program that you guys put me to do."
Okay. Do you understand how serious what you did is? Do you understand how serious that was?
Yes, sir. And I realized that.
And someone could have died. You know, it didn't appear that you maybe understood the severity of what you did at the beginning. You know, you weren't supposed to have a gun at the first place. You really weren't licensed or any of that. And then you fired it off in a place where there are people around, you know?
I apologize. I be great. I apologize.
Okay, I'm glad you understand, you know, the dangerousness of that.
Yes.
Let's talk about the disciplinary reports. You had some problems with discipline before the last hearing. And at the hearing, they asked that you not get any more disciplinary reports before this hearing.
Yes, sir.
But you weren't able to do that. You got 3 more reports for discipline.
He got out. Yeah.
Yes,
And I believe that that's part of the reason why you didn't finish tier 2, and also you didn't get anger management, because when you have those disciplinary reports, you know, they kind of put you to the back of the line and you're on hold for a little while, because they want to give people that are able to behave and follow the rules opportunities at programs. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you caused some of these problems with you not receiving programs by getting the disciplinary reports. Can you tell us what happened? Let's talk about the fighting. You had a fighting disciplinary report, which is pretty serious, you know, for us.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, the fighting was not even a fight. I had an injury on my leg, so we was playing card, and I sit in the chair, and the guy just pushed me, and then the CEO was there, and then they take me to the box, and they took the guy too, but you know, nobody pressed charges. I didn't, not even swim on him. He just pushed me, so I got a can because I injured leg on Robinson playing softball. So that was it. It was nothing like punch and nothing. It was, he just pushed me.
Oh,
And then they
shit.
swarmed in, they stopped it fast.
Yeah, no, nobody swim. He just did like boom, push me. So in Robinson, the day room is like right next to the bubbles. So the seal is just right there. Well, they see
Right
that the guy pushed me.
Is that
And,
better?
you know, they
Or is
came.
it still lagging?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was
I
no
just got off the
swimming.
Wi-Fi.
He didn't swim on me.
Okay.
I didn't swim on him.
Okay.
I just realized that I was on the Wi-Fi.
So, and then you had a
Turned it
contraband where
off,
they
if
found a
you will.
pipe in your cell, and then you found Pruno, and that Pruno was just
Pruno.
in this year, January. So
Yeah.
what was going on? Why did you have Pruno in your cell?
I know, but the pipe, it was another issue. I just got to the cell and then I went to child, they found the pipe. I said, I'm not smoking. I give you my piss test. So I give him my piss test, came out clean, and it still took me to the box.
So the pipe wasn't yours?
The
I'm
pipa?
sorry?
The pipe didn't belong to you?
What
Is
pipe?
that what you're
No.
saying?
No, sir. But they took me to the box because they found it like in the bottom piece. I have bottom bone parts. So they found it in the bottom piece, not even in my bed. So they just charged me for it.
They just charged
Okay.
for me for
What
it.
about the Pruno that they found
The
in
Bruno,
January?
yeah, the Bruno was mine. I
No
told him,
sé.
yeah, it was mine.
I don't know.
It was 3 cups of Bruno. But it's illegal, I understand that.
Well, the bigger thing is that your
Lozos, if
decision
you
making and
will.
thinking, you know you have a parole hearing coming up, right?
Sir, yes, sir.
I mean, is the Pruno really more important than going home to your family?
Hell yeah.
You know,
No, sir. No, sir.
I mean,
realized-
that's the problem so you're not thinking ahead, you know what I mean, about your future. And you're making impulsive decisions that are gonna affect what's gonna happen to your family, you know?
I know, sir. I apologize.
Yeah, I understand it's just a glass of Pruno or whatever you said, but it's bigger than that because it goes to your decision making and you're not
It was
thinking
for-
things through.
It was for my birthday.
And, you know, something
If you
like
will.
that. Now, the Pruno, you know, you're not gonna get programs. Now you have disciplinary reports.
Hell yeah.
You
it
know,
is.
I understand your excuses for the other two, but, you know, you really don't have that kind of an excuse for
He was
Pruno.
framed.
You know?
I know, sir.
Bruno is a prison-made
How do you think
alcohol.
you've changed since you've been incarcerated? How do you feel different?
I changed because I put my mind not in the street no more. And then I've been writing everything down, what I want to do. So I'm an electricity. So my cousin, I don't got license yet because my boss died when I was in jail. But my cousin, he went to school for electricity. So he got his license. I got all my boss contract, some of my friends. So I could just go out there and tell them, oh, I got a license, my cousin got a license. So they're gonna give me the job, you know? So I just gotta make my schedule with parole, see I come out on the bracelets or something, you know, to give it the address what I'm gonna be working at or the program that I'm gonna do.
Well, I understand that you were apprentice electrician with your cousin. I read about that. But I want to know how you feel different since you've been incarcerated before you came in, making bad decisions, shooting a gun until now. Do you feel like you're making better decisions? Do you feel like you've changed?
Do you guys feel he's ready to come out?
Yes, I feel like I'm changed because I was speaking with my baby mom and telling her I don't want nothing to do with gun. I don't got, you know, I told her I don't got license yet. I don't want no car because I don't want to drive and then come back to jail for valet probation, me driving without license, stuff like that. I was saying to my baby mom. Even last night we were talking about that. You know,
That's a good start. That's a good start. Thinking about things in the future that could get you in trouble, even minor things like driving without a license, right?
This is
Driving
Connecticut.
without license, this is the important thing because you could get caught, even somebody hit you.
Yeah.
Then you driving with the kids in your car, you get a DCA enroll, and then I'm coming back to jail. So that's the same thing that I put on my mind that I'm not doing it.
That's how you should be thinking. You should have been thinking like that before you had that Pruno, really, you know?
Before I have all my case, I shouldn't think about that.
Ay.
No?
What about
Hey,
the
that was a
voices
good one.
program? Do you remember taking that?
Yeah, I complete voice, yeah.
What did you learn? What do you feel like you learned from that?
I learned so you feel something for somebody, you got to speak, not like react, because when you react, that make you feel angry and make you in trouble. So, you know, just speak, and then you gotta think what you're doing. Not like it's just do it just to do it. You gotta do like a process in your mind. You know, don't hurt nobody, because you hurt somebody, you think you only hurt that person. No, you hurting your family too, because you hurt that person, but you come back to jail. So that's being hurting your own family too. You know, so it's certain thing that I learned a lot for that.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's good.
No, it makes you angry.
All
No,
right,
me.
let's talk about your
if you
release
will.
plan. What, like, if you get out on parole, where do you think you're gonna live? Like, where are you gonna live at?
Right now I'm living in Waterbury with my baby mom, but I told her I don't want to live in Waterbury. I want to go like to little better town for my kids to go to school. So we was planning that. I said, okay, I'm gonna make it home. Thank God that I make it home, and then when I get my stuff situated, and then we talk to parole, and then
I gotta
want to
start the
go
stream.
like
I'll be right back.
Turrington, you know, something like for my kid to go to school, because I always think about my kids. I got 3 kids, so I got 2 daughters. So I don't want to be with my daughter in school. I mean, in Waterbury school, you know, it's kind of a little bit dangerous in Waterbury. So we were planning moving to Danbury or Torrington.
Danbury.
Actually, my whole family live in Danbury too, so you know. So
No, we don't
I'm just
know.
trying to go a little town that could be better for my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you have family support too, like in Danbury, that maybe it can help with your kids and other things.
Yeah,
that might be
my
good for you.
mom, my sister, my grandpa, my grandma, everybody, my whole family from my mom's side live in Danbury.
Okay, so did they ever talk to you about people, places, and things? Did you ever hear people say that?
No, sir.
So they, in some of the programs, they'll talk about, you know, not being in the same place that you were before when the crimes happened, you know? So all this stuff happened. Yes. So a lot of this stuff happened for you in Waterbury, right?
Not that
Yes,
well.
sir.
Yeah. So people know you're going to come back into the same
Thank you.
environment. Could be a problem. You understand that?
Yes, I mean, my wife, she moved to a different apartment, but that was the same thing I was telling her. I don't want to be in Waterbury because a lot of people know me. So me putting my mind straight that I want to go to work and want to do things right for my kids, the best thing that we can do is just get out from Waterbury. It could be any town, but just move from Waterbury, you know? So
Yeah, regardless of what happens today, I would encourage you to stick with that plan. And then when you have an opportunity to move, especially if you can move near your family and you have support, I would, if it was me, that's what I would do. Being in the same environment where all that stuff was going on is not healthy for you, and it's
not healthy for me,
very risky that you'll end up back incarcerated. You know, it's a risky situation.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I'm scared.
All right,
I'm scared to come back to jail, to be honest with you. So that's why I'm trying to like move from Waterbury.
Yeah. Okay, well, I appreciate you answering my questions. That's all I have for today. My colleagues are gonna have some questions for you, okay? And we'll see where we go from there.
Do you guys think they're gonna
sir.
let him out? What do you
You're
guys
welcome.
think?
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
I don't know. I don't
Mrs.
think
Vasquez.
things
So,
I don't think
Mr.
things ain't looking
Alvarado,
good for him.
Well, I appreciate the insight that you've gained during this period of incarceration. You have to see the pattern. And the pattern is that regardless of where you are, you still cannot refrain from getting into trouble.
Yeah, I
You
think that's the
receive
point.
outside charges before your new bit, before your first parole hearing, and then you go back, they give you another chance because they feel that you really need some help and you could
What up?
benefit from parole supervision, and you squander that opportunity as well because of your poor decision making.
Thank you, Angel.
You can be in the worst place or the best place and still get into trouble because of your decisions. You know,
Chanel,
I'm
thank you.
disappointed that you couldn't follow through with the last panel's recommendation because it really was, given the nature of your
It's
crime
me.
which was extremely serious. You put so many people in harm's way. And I was happy to hear you talk about the Voices program, because you're right. Your actions don't just, it's not just you that's affected or impacted by your actions. You talked about your family and your children, but other people's families and other people's children. It goes full circle. So you really need to be focused on making better decisions. So, but I got kind of lost when you were talking about the Voices program, and some of the things that you learned before that, because the Voices program really does focus on the victims and the impact, right? But you said something about
Thinking things through before you react.
yeah. I'm like that really, maybe I missed that part when we were being trained on that program, but you need to do that regardless of it. You don't need Voices to tell you that you have to think before you act. You're a grown man, 32 years old.
Yeah.
You know, your crimes are serious, Mr. Alvarado. I mean, all of them involve violence. And then you come in and you try to convey drugs into the prison. You have Pruno, you're fighting, it's just too much. It really is too much, with the exception of that one ticket for the pipe that you say that wasn't yours.
The pipa.
All the other ones is you. It's all you. So
It's all you, my guy.
while I can appreciate your desire to do better for yourself and your children, I don't think that you've demonstrated that since you've been in the facility. And unfortunately, I will not be able to support your discretionary parole because you have
one
not
denied. What will the
shown
other
us
two
that
people
you're
say?
ready to go out into the community and make
Get
better
your pillow and your
decisions.
blanket.
And that's
You're
based
spending the
on
night.
your disciplinary infractions, sir, and your lack of program participation. So
But
I guess.
I just
Go
want
ahead.
another opportunity. I just want an opportunity, and I can promise I could do any program that you got put me in. Like, I just need an opportunity.
You had an opportunity though,
I know,
and you
man.
messed up, not just once or twice. You got 3 different tickets after they specifically told you what they needed you to do. So, you tied our hands, sir. It's not our fault. It's honestly the earnest fault on you. You did this to yourself. You have to do better. You have to. If you want us to believe in you, you have to believe in you first. It starts with you.
I
Ms.
understand
Turner.
You can argue with what she just said. She was absolutely right, 100%.
I'm concerned for you that you have not been able to complete an addiction services program, especially given that during this period of incarceration, you've used marijuana and Suboxone
Ooh,
and Pruno.
damn.
We don't typically see someone who has violated the rules in all the ways that you have related to addiction. Usually it's a little more varied. And it concerns me that you haven't addressed the issues, the underlying issues behind your abuse of substances, such that you'd be in prison continuing to abuse substances and then conveying whatever unauthorized item you were trying to get into the prison. We make this decision, sir, about you finishing this sentence out in the community, and we have to consider public safety. And when I look at your rap sheet and I look at all the charges that were nollied when you were sentenced, and this was 13 months ago, so I can mention weapon in a motor vehicle, illegal discharge of a firearm, illegal transfer of a pistol or revolver, stealing a gun. And those are just the gun-related charges that were nollied when you were sentenced for having a gun without a permit. I want to make sure that you understand, not just that you have the 5 years on the registry that my colleague has already talked to you about, but you were convicted convicted felon now, sir. You may not possess firearms and ammunition for the rest of your life.
Yes, that's why I made my own tour and said, I don't want nothing to do with guns. I just want, and I
It's
just
not,
want.
it's not even a choice, sir. It's not about whether or not you want to have anything to do with guns. You are prohibited by our state law.
Yes,
Off the table. Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. So give us a few minutes, Mr. Alvarado, to talk about your case, and then we will give you our decision. Okay?
So, so Pruno is
Please don't interrupt. You can
prison
listen,
made
okay?
alcohol,
Thank you.
if you will.
Thank you. Mr. Sosowskis.
So Mr. Velasco, Alvarado, here on the read here, was asked to complete 3 programs and not get any more disciplinary reports.
Things
He
ain't
did
looking good for
complete
him.
One program, although he was already in that, and it was just a short time after the hearing that it completed. He did start second program, but it looks like because of 3 additional DRs, he was not able to finish that program. It's transferred to another facility, which happens after DRs, and he's not been in any other program. So he's not been able to do the things that the previous panel recommended that he complete before he comes here today. So he's 32 years old now, and he does rate low for risk of recidivism. But the nature and circumstances of this offense make me very concerned because his decision-making while incarcerated has not been good. And, you know, he expresses that he wants to do better, and he wants to be a better person for his family. And I believe he does want to do that.
I do too.
He hasn't provided us with the evidence that we can rely on to make a decision that he's suitable, based on his actions in the facility.
Yeah.
So, you know, regardless, he has 3 years of probation coming up after he's released. And, you know, according to my documents, he'll be in a sentence this year. And if he doesn't do the things that he's saying he's going to do when he's out, working and staying at home, moving out of town, if he doesn't do all those things, he's not going to make it through probation. So he really needs to do what he says when he goes on to probation and follow through, or else he's just going to be right back here if he keeps making poor decisions. So I would encourage him to follow through on the things he said. He has an opportunity, a family member that has worked for him. He has family that live in the state. If I was him, I would move near them and surround himself with family and work and take care of his family and stay away from all this nonsense and make better decisions. But for today, I cannot support discretionary parole for him based on, you know, the nature and circumstances of this inadequate evidence of offender change. I mean, I can go on. It's inadequate institutional program participation, poor institutional adjustment.
I have also.
I do too. I do too.
So, I mean, that's how I feel about this. You know, I hope he can follow through on what he says.
I do too. You know, I think that people come before us and they really think that we can like wave this magic wand, and, you know, I mean, they do tug at our hearts because we do want, you know, to see the best for them, for all of them. But, you know, you have to give us something to work with. And unfortunately, he just hasn't. Ms. Turner, do you have anything to add?
What the previous panel recommended would have prepared him to be successful, and he would have come before us as suitable.
Yes.
And his failures with his behavior and that keeping him out of programming, I don't find him suitable.
So with regard to Jamie Nolasco Alvarado, 444179, I move that he be denied discretionary parole based on the nature and circumstance of his offense, his inadequate evidence of offender change, his inadequate program participation, and his poor institutional investment. He will not receive a new hearing date. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, Mr. Alvarado, we couldn't support your discretionary parole. We stated clearly what our issues and concerns were, sir. We do wish you the best of luck, and you'll get this in writing shortly. Okay? Good luck to you, sir.
This concludes the hearing for Jamie.
And the price wasn't right on that one.
Sir, you can go back to the unit.
Next. Hey, you know what? And not to, you know, not to bash him or whatnot. And I understand that he's in prison and there's certain things, a certain way you gotta carry yourself in prison, but you gotta try. You gotta put that right foot forward, if you will, to want to come home. You know, if it was me, I'm gonna come home. You know, the shortest amount of time that I need to spend in that place, that's I'm gonna do to come home. And that's all it is. You know, I'm not bashing that guy. You gotta grow up at some point. You gotta be like, man, like I don't want this life for me no more. If he has problems carrying those type of weapons around, then obviously he's involved in some things. Maybe he should step away, maybe move away to a different area, hang out with different people. And up next, who do we got? I have no idea. Hey, but thank you guys. I appreciate all of you guys. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. If you're on YT, don't forget to tap them screens. I see we got 22,000 hearts on one account. We got 1.5 thousand on another. Highly appreciate you guys. And also sharing is caring. Hey, share it with the ones you love. Share with the ones you don't love. Just share it. Yay, we're trying to grow this platform. We're trying to hit that 10,000, that 10K, if you will. And you could go ahead and help me do that. You know, hey, I'm here because of you guys. Because if nobody was watching, then I wouldn't be here unless you guys are
Good
AI.
morning. My name is Parole Officer Torres. Today is
guys
Wednesday, March 26, 2025, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information
Am
in
I
preparation
AI?
of this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm panel member Barry.
Good morning, Robert Sazowski.
Nancy Turner.
Good morning.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Estevez, 393-875.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for William Estevez, number 393-875. He is serving a sentence of 3 years flat for possession with intent to sell or distribute narcotics. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of April 15, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows the offender completed tier 2. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the high range of risk for recidivism. Mr. Estevez, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I feel like I understand I've made mistakes. Out in the world, I was selling drugs. I was trying to find a way to fend for me and for my family. I know it's not an excuse, but I ran away from DCF, and when I was young, and that's what I know best. Me being in here with the programs that I've been given and applications we have on the tablet, I've gotten to learn about trucking and learning about certain other stuff that I can do besides sell drugs. I don't want to sell drugs. I want to actually be in my kid's life. I always used to say I don't want to be nothing like my father, and reality smacked me in here, showing me that I'm everything like him. So I'm trying to be a better father and be a better self for myself. I've learned in here that I got to be selfish and make sure that I'm good so I can make sure that my kids and my family are good. And like I said, I'm sorry that I made the mistake out there to sell drugs and I was going down the wrong path. But I know that I'm not going to do that now when I go home. When I was here, they didn't have me doing any program at first. So thank you to P.O. Torres. She helped me get into the tier 2 program and I completed it.
We got a man.
That's all I had to say.
Let's start counting them.
Well, I appreciate that opening statement, Mr. Estevez. Our desires for you as well is to return to your family and be a productive, contributing member of society. But our number one concern is that you will obey the laws. And unfortunately, you haven't been able to do that for a number of years. So I don't think that you have been before the parole board before. So what's going to happen is each of us will take turns to ask you questions. When we're done with those questions, we will deliberate and give you our decision. You have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Hey, I agree with you, Gigi.
Your questions. So, Mr. Estevez, a review of your file is very concerning. You were on probation when you committed this crime, and your probation was terminated. Why were you selling drugs on probation?
Like I said, that's the best thing that I knew how to do at the time. I didn't have my ID. I didn't have any type of like stuff to say that I am who I am. So I just did what I knew was best for me.
When you were in prison before for the hindering of the prosecution,
if you
why
will.
didn't you obtain your ID identification then?
I did, but when I was leaving jail, they told me that they had to wait I had to come back for a person that had to go into the safe or something because they didn't leave my mail, my ID and stuff like that. I don't have a car, so I can't just come back and forth however I want. So
Did you not have an address where they could have perhaps mailed it to you?
I didn't have an address out here in Connecticut.
And so where were you living then?
For a long time, I was just jumping from house to house, living from friend to friend or family to family.
But it was in Connecticut, is that right?
Yeah.
And where were you born?
Thank you, Kimberly.
I was born in Danbury, Connecticut.
So why couldn't you go to the Danbury, Connecticut town clerk and get your birth certificate, all of that stuff?
I don't know where to get it.
Because every time I went to Social Security, they asked me I need my birth certificate. When I go to the city hall, they'd be like, "Oh, you need your Social Security card.
Go with your mom. Go with your dad. Go with your siblings.
Form of ID to prove that you live there." So then I didn't have any of that, so I kept going back and forth between two, and I just
my guy.
up, honestly, and I just started doing whatever I felt like could get me money faster. I was working under the table, and I would sell drugs, and I don't have an excuse for any of that. That's what I was doing. And
well, it sounds like you have a lot of excuses. And what's problematic for me is that selling drugs appears to be your go-to. And I really don't understand that, Mr. Estevez, because, you don't even have your high school diploma. You haven't worked towards that. You're out here and you're making babies. And now you're in prison. And I'm just curious to know, like, what is happening to your children? Your girlfriend has been taking care of them?
My children are perfectly fine. They are being taken care of. I be around my children. I just don't. I was just making bad decisions.
I know that the longest time that you've been out of prison has been 2 years. And your children are 11 and 6, and you don't have any contact with them.
I have contact with them.
When did that change?
When I went home the last time, I got to see my 11-year-old was 9 years old, and I had him come from Florida to stay with me for a couple months, and then me and his mom had a setup for me to be able to be around him. And my 6-year-old now,
I thought that I read that you didn't have any contact with them because the mothers didn't approve of your lifestyle. And they didn't want that in their children's lives.
When I was home, I got to be around my kids. My kids know who I am. I am a great dad to my kids.
How are you a great dad to your children in prison, sir?
Now I'm in prison, yes. When I was home, I was doing everything I had to do as a dad to be there for them.
Working under the table and selling drugs. That's not doing everything that you're supposed to do as a dad, sir.
To my knowledge, that's all I knew how to do at the time. So I'm sorry if that's not like what I know. That's not the best dad of the year of the book, but I provide for my kids. They had food to eat all the time, and my baby mothers never had any complaints about me from when I came to jail from I left the jail last time.
Of course not. They were benefiting from your illegal criminal activity. You know what I mean? Like, but then you're selling drugs to someone else's daughter, someone else's son, someone else's father, someone's mother. It's just a circle that just continues because of people like yourself. And according to my record, you don't even really have a substance abuse problem yourself. I show that you were popping perks.
I was doing perks. I was sniffing coke. I was doing lean. I was doing a lot of gave a lot of urines to probation and to any probation officer that I ever had can tell you I've had multiple dirty urines for multiple different drugs.
Okay, but that's not what you're saying that you were selling drugs for, sir.
No, I was selling crack cocaine when I was home. I don't do crack.
And you were selling crack because that was all that you
knew is what you're saying. You didn't say, I was selling drugs to support my habit. You said I was supporting my children.
I wasn't selling drugs to support my habit. I was selling drugs to support my family, and I had enough money to support my habit also. But that was the wrong choice that I did, and I know my choice that I made was wrong. I know that when I go home now, I have family members that own businesses that are going to help me start working and stuff like that. So I have everything set up for me to be successful when I go home. About any of that. But,
exactly. But and unfortunately, Mr. Estevez, this discussion here today is not to determine whether or not you're intelligent or unintelligent. It's clear that you're a smart person. You've been able to overcome a lot of difficulties or adversities in your history. But until you start putting more thought into your actions, sir, you're going to be right back in prison, and people are going to be, you're going to continue to have these conversations. It's time for you to put your money where your mouth is and do better instead of saying, I want to do better and not doing better.
No, I'm going to do better. I know I'm going to do better. I don't have any, I can't take failure anymore. And I'm 32 years old. I'm at a point in my life where I need to do better. I need to do better for myself and for my kids.
You do. You do. And why don't you, why wouldn't you get your education while you've been in prison?
Listen, I was getting my education in Bridgeport, get transferred from there, went over to Osborne. I caught it because I had a ticket. I couldn't start school. Then came over here because my ticket still wasn't clear. You have to wait 120 days for a Class A ticket to clear. So I couldn't start school over here too. And then when I do start school, I'm 32 years old. I'm not 20 something or 19. So I'm not a priority for them to be at the GED thing. I have to wait for every other young kid that's in here to start going to school in front of me. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just do a program. Let me do something. Programs were giving me the runaround too because I wasn't on their OAP. It wasn't on my OAP. So when I talked to Pio Torres about it, and she asked me what program I wanted to do, I said Tier 2, and she got me into Tier 2. Like, it's not like I was sitting here not wanting to do nothing. I signed up for jobs, but
but when you get tickets though, sir, it puts you further back on the list. You're right. You're not a priority. And they base that on the people who are in the prisons doing the right things and doing the things that they're supposed to and following the rules. They make those people a priority. Why would they want someone who wants to what did you get tickets for? I see that you had a brown bag of Pruno for money, and you put a water bottle lid in the door of your cell so that you can walk about. Why would they do that? You're a risk to security, to the safety in the prison. So why would they make you a priority when you haven't made yourself a priority?
Well, they didn't give me in my OAP, they didn't give me any program. So that had nothing.
You can't get the programs with the tickets, sir.
I understand that, but what I'm saying, even if I didn't have a ticket, I still can't get into the program unless someone adds the program to my OAP. That was the whole situation that I had going on here because it wasn't on my OAP, so I wasn't a priority to them. It had nothing to do because of my tickets. It was because it wasn't on my OAP.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
Was stopping me from going to school or getting a job.
I think they're going to deny him. What do you guys think?
Those are two things that could have really been helpful for you, though.
Yeah, I had a job in Bridgeport County, though. I was the tierman there for a lot of the time that I was there. So,
Mr. Estevez, can I just give you just a synopsis of what I see in your file? So you're 32 years old, you come into the prison for being in possession of drugs, with trying to sell them. Oh, wow. And you had, they were watching you for a while. So they received a warrant to check your car and your cell phone and your apartment. And you were arrested with Priscilla, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then, so you come into the prison, you're already on probation for a robbery third. You rate out extremely high in terms of risk to recidivate. You get 1, 2, 3 disciplinary infractions within I see May, August, and September. You don't take you did take the Tier 2 program, but you haven't really focused
Hey, thank
on
you.
any other things because of your disciplinary history. And you've been out in the community under supervision a total of 4 times, and you failed for each one of those. So for us looking at your file, it really is difficult to say that you're suitable for discretionary parole because you haven't demonstrated in any capacity, sir, while either in the community or in the facility that you're capable of following the rules. And in addition to that, you know, you rate out high. So that's concerning for us. I mean, especially given your domestic violence, your history of violence with intimate partners.
Wow.
So
that only happened one time, and it wasn't
only once. Okay.
Domestic violence I had in my thing one time, and I learned from that. I never got into any domestic dispute ever again. Like, that was like my first time ever going to jail.
With was it with Priscilla too?
Yeah, but that got taken away because she clearly was.
It wasn't taken away. It was knowledge.
Yeah, it was thrown away.
That's all.
That's and so are you in a relationship with Priscilla now?
Yes.
So why were you trying to go and stay with Genesis?
Oh,
damn! I was gonna help me go stay there, but
Priscilla and Genesis, if they're watching,
just a friend, and I can't do that. So I'd rather just go to a halfway house.
Pull this
I don't
cover.
really want to. I got another place I can parole to, but like I told my family, I think I'm better off going to a halfway house where I'll have people that will help me, you know, get a job and.
Well, now you want a halfway house. Okay.
Secret lovers.
Yeah. I don't want to parole. I told Genesis the same thing. I wouldn't want to, you know, I can't take her up to the offer of me paroling there, and then
que salga, desgraciado.
She expects something that I know I'm not going to give to her, and I just don't want to play with her emotions or her head. So
she's under the impression that you already did play with her
the whole time.
Hey, do you guys have the TikTok shop?
Does Priscilla know that you were going to stay with Genesis?
Yes.
Yeah, right. I don't believe
that. Okay. This is a lot, Mr. Estevez.
I don't think they're gonna let him go.
See if my colleagues have any additional questions for you, Ms. Turner.
Just with respect to your job plans, Mr. Estevez, you indicated you have a job at a Toyota dealership.
Yeah, I got a friend that works at Toyota dealership. She said she can get me up to work there.
Doing what?
Well, I was thinking about doing sales, you know, being on the floor, talking to people, trying to make them.
What is she offering you a job to do?
That's what we talked about.
And you have no experience in doing that? And it's all commission based.
Actually, I used to work at Victoria's Secret. I used to work at
Victoria's Secret, you said?
Other stores like American Eagle.
Selling clothes versus selling cars are really different talent sets.
It's two different things.
And you have to have a knowledge base of the product that you're selling. I thought maybe you would just be detailing and cleaning cars.
That's what I would say.
But you're actually aspiring to be a salesperson.
Yeah,
start at the bottom.
I can do that. I'm
not sure with your criminal record that you'd be able to handle the financial side of car sales transactions. So you'll have to look into that. But the dealership is in Danbury, right?
Yes.
And you want to live in Waterbury?
No, I want to be.
That's where you asked for a halfway house, was Waterbury.
And I picked Waterbury and Hartford for a halfway house.
And you're going to work at a dealership in Danbury? Do you know the distance
that we're talking about? That math is not mathing.
Yes, but that's a plan for when I go home. Now, when I'm talking about if I'm in a halfway house, I'm obviously going to get a job at Trader Joe's or at
Trader Joe's,
any other company that would hire me. And then once I'm home, I can, you know, hey, let me see if I can get into, if she can get me into Toyota. If it doesn't work, I know I have family that.
I can appreciate that would be a long range plan, but that's not how you represented it to the parole officer when you were interviewed. You said when you're released, A friend has a job at a Toyota dealership in Danbury, guaranteed for him.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
But I'm not, me being a parole, that's if I was to get paroled. But like I said, that I don't want to be paroled to a house. I want to be in a halfway house. So in a halfway house, I know I'll be better. I can
Yes,
save
but
money.
you're choosing a halfway house in Waterbury for a job that you have guaranteed in Danbury. It didn't make sense to me, and that's all I was trying to clarify. You had asked him a question about lien. Did he?
You didn't answer. What is lien?
Hey guys,
Cost parenthesis.
lien.
Cost syrup and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like
that purple drink. Hey, on the big account, I gotta start it over again. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Jump over to my other stream. Go to my profile. I'm about to cut it like in 10 seconds.
Yeah, would be soda, juice, whatever you want to mix it with.
If I'm pointing at you, I'm about to start it over. I'll be back.
You know, just so you know, sir, if we were to grant you parole, we would stipulate that you would not be allowed to have contact with Priscilla. She's both your co-defendant and your victim, your prior victim. So it would be inappropriate for us to allow you to have contact. She was with you while you were selling drugs, and that's concerning. That would be a choice.
I understand that. But that's why I don't want to parole to either Priscilla's house or Genesis. I'd rather go to a halfway house, like I said before.
You're good. You're good. Don't worry. I wasn't gonna cut this
keep
stream.
working on
I
myself.
cut the other one.
And I honestly don't even want to be here in Connecticut. I want to move different place and just start all over.
Well, then maybe the best thing is to go out at the end of your sentence next year and be unencumbered by parole or probation, and you can go live in any state you want and start over and not have to bother with anybody. It looks like DOC will consider you for a halfway house next month.
Yes, I know that.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no more questions.
Yeah, I got multiple streams. I got multiple chats going on.
Mr. Sazowski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, sir, I just have
If
one
you
question.
will.
You know, in your documents, and then today again, you mentioned a difficulty in finding work having to do partly with your identification problem.
Yes.
Well, what's the status of that now? Have you done anything? Do you have an ID?
I have all my paperwork. I did that since I went to Osborne.
Yeah,
I got my
you are.
ID, my birth certificate, and my social security card in my file here. So, like I said, I'm trying to go to a halfway house and be ready just to jump into working and keep myself busy so I don't get into any trouble. And like, nobody's perfect, bro. I made mistakes.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to just talk to you about things you can do now while you're there that, you know, you could be successful when you get out. Like,
yeah, I know.
That ID situation hurt you right before, according to you. So those are things that you can take care of, and you have taken care of it.
Yes, I made sure that I took care of that ASAP as soon as I got the chance.
The person that offered you the job at the dealership, were they now willing to provide you with like a document, a letter saying that, you know, that would be helpful, things like that, where we could see on paper, you know? Did you ask him for anything like that?
No, I didn't think I needed any of that. That was my personal plan of me going home. I didn't think I needed any to prove, to show anything like that.
It's good for us. It helps us to understand better if we see a document in the file, whether it's from your sponsor or from a job, somebody that says, you know, I vouch for this person. I'm going to make sure they have a job. I'm going to make sure they have a place to live, whatever you're going to do. So that when we come to the hearing, you know, you're just saying these things. It's hard for us to gauge, you know, how realistic it is. You
Jump
know?
over to one of my other streams.
That's all. Just things to think about.
If
for
you
you
got
to
lag,
work on. If you
jump over to one of my other streams. I got multiple streams going
while
on.
you're in there. That's all. So that's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I okay. Mr. Estevez, we've heard you say over and over again, you know, about making mistakes. And I'm going to encourage you to reframe how you think about these. These are choices that you've made that have consequences that have brought you to prison. A mistake is like forgetting to return a library book. What you're doing is making a choice to engage in criminal activity, violating the laws of our state jeopardizing the health and safety of other
up,
people. And this is your fifth period of incarceration. So I really hope that you'll be able to turn it around. But don't talk about it as mistakes. These are choices that you've made that you're living the consequences of.
I have a question, Madam Chair. If I can
Thank
speak,
you.
please.
You may, go ahead.
I don't know where y'all come from or what y'all life was bringing up, but I do know that I've been in DCF for my whole entire life. When I was from 9 years old until I was 19 years old, I decided to run away, which was also a mistake on my part because I decided to think about somebody else's life before I thought about my own. That's always been my life. I ran away and I didn't have the help. I didn't know how to do a check. I didn't know how to sign for a job. I didn't know how to do none of that. What I did know is what I learned when I was 9 years old, which was
now he's being honest.
Drugs, beat people up, and do robberies and stuff like that. That's what I did know. And that's not who I am now. It's not who I was when I was just home. I wasn't robbing people. I wasn't beating people up. Yes, I was selling drugs because that's the last resort that I had to come to because I needed to eat myself and I needed to make sure my kids ate also. And I didn't want to be going to court to lose custody of my kids and not being able to see my kids. So I made, when I say make a mistake, yeah, I made a bad choice. I made a bad decision, which to me was a mistake.
Thank you.
And I feel like all I need is
a chance.
Yeah, I didn't do good in probation. I didn't do good any of the other times. But I know that once I go home to a halfway house, I go home to a halfway house, or if I have to wait 18 more months to go home, no matter what happens in this hearing, I know I'm going to do good no matter what. And I just feel like you're just reading from a paper and you think that that's who I am. I'm not who that is. I came a long way from being raped and beat up by my parents to...
What did he say? That he was
running away from DCF and being around the wrong crowd of people.
No, I didn't hear that.
My loyalty to the wrong crowd of people that I thought that loved me, that didn't love me. And I've learned how to love myself in here. I learned how to be selfish in here because I used to think that was a bad thing, but that's actually a good thing when you're trying to be a better person. So I know you guys are going to probably make a decision off whatever you guys see on that paper, but I know I'm not the worst inmate in here. I'm not the worst criminal in here. I haven't raped nobody. I never killed nobody. I never picked up a gun to shoot nobody. But I made mistakes, and I take accountability to all my actions. I know I can be a better person. I am a better person. And when I go home, I'm going to show that not only to whoever is watching me, but to myself and to my kids, because that's all I care about. I don't want my kids to be nothing like me or go down the road that I went. I have brothers and sisters that have that privilege, that finished school, that did everything they need to do and have great jobs now. I didn't have that. I didn't get that chance. That was so. All I ask is before you just read the piece of paper and try to say that's who I am, and that I don't learn from my mistakes or I keep doing these stuff to come back to jail. I came back to jail a matter of the times for technical violations for smoking weed. A lot of the times was all for that, not because I caught a new charge or because I was out there doing dumb shit, like, and excuse my language, but it was a lot of times for technical violations, for me smoking weed or me not going to a program like I was supposed to go. And I was just tired of, I was young-minded and I was tired of people telling me what to do and me seeing that, oh, my brother and these people smoke weed. Why can they do it and live a perfect life and I can't do it? That was my state of mind at the time, not seeing that the reason why they could do it is because they're not on probation. I'm on probation and I have to follow guidelines. And I understand if I was to get parole, I'll be on their guidelines too in parole. And I'm okay with that because I know that I'm not going to fail this time. I can't, like I said, can't fail myself. I can't fail my kids. My kids are getting older. My 11-year-old understands. I can have conversations with him where he understands right from wrong. Like, so all I'm asking for is just a chance to go out there and just, even if it's to a halfway house, that's where I really want to go to, either there or a parole house where I can just like go go get a job. I have family that are half owner of the lesser evil organic popcorn factory in Danbury, where I can, if I don't get a job at Toyota, I know for a fact I can get a job there. Like,
thank you, Emma.
And it's a factory, so it's not like they're not gonna hire me. I know they hire a lot of felons there. I know Walmart hires felons. I know the tablet tells me every single place where I can put my charges, and they'll tell me all the jobs that will still hire me. So I know jobs that will still hire me. So I'm not setting myself for failure. Yes, Toyota might be a little, I can't potty on the floor and I would have to do detailing. That's what I have to do, then I would take it, because I won't have to sell drugs no more. I'm not going to sell drugs. Even if I have to be a bum in the streets and go hungry, I would rather than come back to jail. I've seen people die in here already twice in the same block that I've been at. And this is not where I want to live at. This is not where I want to be at. This is not my life.
Okay, thank you.
What do you guys
Mr.
think now?
Estevez, but you did
Now that he's
start
being honest.
that with, I have a question. Did you ask the question or did you just want to?
I'm not bad. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay. We appreciate that information. And it really does sound as if you have, we've read your file, so we know that you've had a difficult childhood. And I think that we all acknowledge as well that you have, like I thought I said that you have overcome a lot of adversities in your life, sir. It's not that we don't see it. And unfortunately, we can't know you personally. Because if we did, we would have to recuse ourselves from being a part of your hearing. It's our jobs to look at the information that is before us and be able to make decisions based on our discussion with you today and what this piece of paper says. And it's not an easy job to do, but we have to do honestly what we believe is best in light of public safety. And so I hear your desires. I know that you want to do better. And I hear your plea. And I appreciate all that you said. I appreciate your being vulnerable. I appreciate all your assertions and how you are determined to be a better person. And that makes me happy. It really does, because ultimately this is not our lives, it's your life that's at stake here. So if you continue to make the same decisions over and over again, you're going to be right back where you are, and who wants that? Said you saw 2 people in prison die already. There's lots of people who die in prison. There are lots of people your age who have to spend the rest of their lives there. That's not what we want for you. We want you to do what you say. That's what we want. Am I wrong? We really want you to be a better person. And we have to make that decision based on what we read here, not on just what you say. Although we do take that into consideration as well. So anyway, give us a few minutes to talk about your case, and we will give you our decision. And
this is
we
it.
just ask that you not interrupt us, okay?
This is it. Hey, so they're gonna talk right now amongst themselves. He could hear what they're saying. He can't hear what I'm saying.
I don't even know where.
But he could hear what they're saying.
If
that makes any sense.
He, as I stated before, rates out as a high risk to recidivate. He has not done well under community supervision. He has not done well in the facility. He's violated every single term of his probation. They've worked with him over and over again to kind of get him to change the way that he thinks.
Lord.
And I really don't see in the system where he's truly had an opportunity to take appropriate programs to help address some of his needs.
So he needs at least
Well,
2 of them
he's
to
serving
agree.
a flat sentence.
He needs 2 out of
and
3.
He has accumulated a number of
But he's a really
disciplinary
nice guy, if you
infractions,
will.
And I do not believe that he's demonstrated suitability or discretionary parole. I do believe that he has nothing out there. And he sounds like he wants to do better, and perhaps being on discretionary parole would be the opportunity that he needs to go out and finally get one in the positive in terms of supervision. So to be honest with you, I am a little bit torn.
Oh, she's on the
based
fence.
on what he's shown us and the fact that he has a flat sentence. And he's received that flat sentence because he hasn't done well before. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Chime in.
I can certainly appreciate that you feel conflicted. That was a very eloquent appeal from him. And yet, as Mr. Sosowskis pointed out, you know, a level of preparedness to assure us that he has a workable plan. It means we've heard his sponsor change. We've heard his job plans change. You know, I'm happy for him that he's gotten straight with his identification, which will give him, you know, a good start. His GED would have done that too, but his behavior has kept him out of that. I was interested in rehearing him with more programming. I think new thinking could be good for him. But at this point, it's so clear that he wants out that, you know, I think when DOC offers him a halfway house next month, since that's what he's telling us his plan is now, he's gone. So I think perhaps that's the best plan right now. I give him credit. He has changed. You know, I had written down when I read about, you know, he loves himself now. That's a critical first step for changing how you are out in the world. And at 32, it's a good time to make that change. His kids are still at a very young and impressionable age. I know one of them isn't in the state, but as Mr. Sosowskis points out, the decision-making is concerning. And it's almost like a cycle of self-sabotage.
Right.
And hopefully he can break out of that, but without additional programming. I mean, this is an individual who indicated he was smoking marijuana every day, all day to numb out. So there are issues that he hasn't addressed. And you know, not only was he minimizing his drug use when he answered your questions, but, you know, in looking at his rap sheet, he actually had 2 domestic violence convictions. They were sentenced on the same day, but in 2014 in Bethel, he had strangulation. And in 2015, he had assault third. And those were both domestics in 2 different towns. So, you know, the idea of minimizing and misrepresenting to us is concerning to me. I mean, this should be an exercise of all cards on the table and full honesty. And I'm not sure that we've heard that from Mr. Estevez yet today. In its entirety.
That's scary right there. That strangulation right there.
So I would not be granting today.
One denied.
Mr. Sosowskis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I agree with all of what both of you said. I also recognize what Mr. Estevez has said in his appeal, and we can all understand the difficulties he's had to overcome as a child. You know, I also had a note here about the New Thoughts program. In addition, I have a note here about anger management. You know, it sounds like that there are some underlying anger issues probably related to his childhood that could probably be explored in anger management, and New Thoughts can maybe make him think differently, like he's saying he wants to. You know, I would be open to a rehear in October. I mean, October would leave him a year. If he could manage to get to October without DRs, that would put him over a year without DRs, and then he would be eligible for a year on parole. I'm not sure what's going to happen with his halfway house with DOC with these tickets. You know, I've seen different things happen. I'm not certain that he's going to get that opportunity. I don't know. But that's where I would be, as I can't support this today, unfortunately, based on his record, like you both stated. But I would be open to a rehear in October with some programming, like new thoughts and anger management.
It's a wrap. He's done.
I think that is fair, to be honest.
Generous.
Yeah, it is generous. In all actuality, it would also, in October rehear, would also give him time to prove that he can refrain from incurring any additional disciplinary infractions. And at best, it would be an opportunity for him to get more tools in his toolbox. It sounds like he is truly on the cusp of changing the way that he thinks. And I think that his participation in the programs and also his proving, putting his money where his mouth is, basically, would also put him in a better situation too.
If he comes back in October with more tickets and can't get through these programs, then I mean, that's gonna be on him, you know? I would also like to see, like we've talked about a couple of times, I know he's saying these things about jobs and about people supporting the community. He can work on getting a better release plan, some kind of document submitted into our files.
He's already using the tablet to find those jobs, so I'll take the next step.
Get a family member to write a letter of support that they're gonna be your sponsor or they're gonna help you. Someone that's offering you a job, to get a letter in there saying that, you know, we're gonna do our best to help him win a job. Those things mean something, you know, especially with this kind of a record that he has, you know?
So our reasons, go ahead.
Can I ask us to look at August or September? September would be 6 months, but I'm looking at an estimated end of sentence date of August 10th
Okay,
of
I'm open to it, yeah.
2026. So that would give, you know, closer to a year of supervision.
Yeah,
So we'll go with September.
is that okay? That's fine with me, you know?
I would do September. I want to see him be able to.
Yep.
So for institutional adjustment and
Put it on probation.
that's what I have, probation, and then we'll rehear him in September 25 with no disciplinary infractions and positive programs. Okay, Mr. Estevez, we're ready with our official decision. With regard to William Estevez 393-875, I move to deny discretionary parole based on his poor institutional adjustment, the 3 disciplinary infractions, and his offense being committed while on probation. I further move that he will be reheard in September of 2025 or reconsidered for discretionary parole at that time. He should not have incurred any additional disciplinary infractions, and he should have completed any positive programs that he can get into, developed a viable release plan, letters of employment. These are all just recommendations prior to that new hearing in September. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Estevez. Honestly, I've had you denied with no new hearing date. So I really do hope that you take this opportunity. It's just 6 months. Do all that you can, sir, to prove to us that you are ready to go out there. It's up to you. You know, you have to make better decisions, and we're trying to give you that opportunity that you asked for. So good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
So
And
she
also
wrote,
look into a fatherhood program. Those are voluntary, but there's 24/7 dads, there's embracing fatherhood, something that's going to help you navigate your children's emotional reaction to you being away and now being back in their lives, because they're going to have a lot of feelings that you're going to have to accept and work through with them.
All right,
Give you
thank you.
some skills.
I wouldn't want to be
Goodbye.
a Selly.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you.
He's gonna come back. He's gonna be
The
pissed
hearing
off.
for William Estevez.
Up next on The Price is Wrong. Hey, and if I'm pointing at you, I'm starting the stream over. I'm gonna start this stream over. They keep on hitting this stream. I got multiple streams going on, so if I'm not pointing at you, then this message isn't for you. I'll be back right now. Okay, I'm gonna shut it down 2 seconds, and I'll be right back. Also, if you don't like it that I have to keep on shutting down, I'm also running it on YT over here at CollectCallFrom. Same quality and everything. All right, I'll be back because the next one's about to start.
Hello. Are you guys ready for me?
Hey, slow down there,
Okay.
Playboy. Are you ready for me? Come on. Who are you? He's already off to a bad start. What he say? This guy over here. Hey, You don't ask the questions. We ask the questions over here. Let me see. I got to start this up really quick. All right. So yeah, I got multiple streams going on. And if you do go over to, YT,
Good morning.
I have
My name is Parole Officer Torres. Today is Wednesday, March 26, 2025, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information and preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, I'm panel member Barry.
Good morning, Robert Sazowskis.
Nancy Turner.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Andrew Knapp, 405-798.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Andrew Knapp, number 405-798. He is serving a sentence of 4 months flat for violation of probation, underlying risk of injury to a child. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of March 20th, 2005. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed. It shows the offender completed the short track sex offender program. Utilizing the statewide collaborative complete offender risk evaluation system, the offender overall score falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. Utilizing the static 99R, the offender's overall score for sexual offense recidivism falls within the low moderate range. Mr. Knapp, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you should grant parole. You may begin.
Thank you. So I'd like to say before I began my problem sexual behavior class, I was honestly frustrated. I had to take it again. I felt I had already learned all there was to know, but truth be told, this was the first time I took the class while incarcerated, and it made a huge difference. I had no other obligations and no distractions. I had a clear mind and was in a great state to absorb some essential guidance. I now realize my violation occurred almost exclusively because of lifestyle risk factors I exposed myself to. I put myself into situations where it was too easy to make bad decisions. This class has taught me the importance of a disciplined, structured life so I can avoid these situations altogether. I've also learned some vital communication skills which should help me to build lasting relationships. I've been trying to replace these relationships in my life with promiscuity and drugs, when what I really need is in a partner is intimacy and dependability. I'm hoping that learning to be an active listener and effective communicator will help me build solid relationships. Finally, and most importantly, this class has taught me the true importance of accountability. Going forward, I will strive to take ownership of my mistakes and act with honesty and transparency. That said, I'd like to take a moment to truly, deeply apologize to my victim, his family, my entire support system, who my actions have hurt beyond measure. I'm asking the board to grant me parole so I can have some guidance in the community upon release. I know I still have some issues to address, and I'm hoping the state will work with me to address these issues before my EOS in approximately 1 year. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Knapp, for taking the time out to write that statement.
This guy.
We appreciate your apology, and we're happy to see that you were able to complete and get something out of the sex offender treatment. We do have questions that we've prepared today in preparation for your hearing. Each of us will take a turn to ask those questions. When we are done, we deliberate and give you our decision, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Best of luck to you, sir. Ms. Turner will start with questions.
So Mr. Knapp, you ended your opening statement by saying you still have issues to address. What are those issues?
I struggled with drugs in the past, and I've never, so I did do rehab this past year at the App Foundation, which was helpful, but while I was there, I still, I was on an ankle monitor. I still knew that I probably was going, no matter what, I was going to have to go to jail upon completion. So I just had a lot of outside factors on my mind, and it hindered, I think, me being able to give my entire self to the treatment. And, like I said, I have a year left until my EOS, and, in an ideal world,
thank you.
I can't go home because my mom has leukemia right now. She's about to get a bone marrow transplant, so that's out. So I'd like to go to a halfway house, and from there, either go into a treatment facility for a couple months or go to a sober house where I can try to go to some 12-step meetings and just really try to make peace with my past and learn to replace, whatever drugs or, you know, things that I was trying to use to fill whatever void I have inside me, try to replace that with, you know, a solid foundation. 43 years old. I feel like this is my last chance to make my parents proud. I know that I have a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. All right.
Yeah.
Are you doing 12-step meetings there in the facility?
Honestly, right now I'm not, because I feel like,
Okay, that's,
all right.
going back to my original question, are there other issues that you still need to address besides your struggling with drugs?
Yes, I definitely have some issues with PTSD, and just a lot of, you know, personality traits that I feel like, as much as I appreciate the group classes, I'd like to do some one-on-one therapy. I have worked in the past with a CATSO certified therapist. Her name was Eva. She was at Stanford. I forget her last name. Sure.
Is there a part of you that's trying to avoid the group dynamic and being accountable to peers and other offenders?
No.
Okay.
No, I
So why
would like to.
one-on-one?
I haven't really, as an adult, had like extensive therapy one-on-one, and I just think it might be helpful. There's nothing.
Okay.
I'm not trying
But
to
you
avoid
mentioned
anything.
specific at CATSO. So that's not in lieu of doing problem sexual behavior treatment, correct?
No.
In a group setting, okay.
In addition to.
I don't believe him. I say wood chipper or
Mr.
silver
Knapp,
bullet.
Glad that you took track one. I've read the evaluation and I have a couple questions for you about that. But you know, where I'm coming from is in 2017, you were seen by the board for discretionary parole release and you were denied.
Yeah.
So you went out end of sentence to your probationary period, and now you're back on violating the probation. So it's kind of hard to imagine that we would, once having previously denied you, now grant you discretionary parole. Do you see how that doesn't quite make sense?
I thought that maybe, you know, a lot of time has passed, and I'm in a different state in my sentence now. You know, I'm at the back end of my sentence. So when if you guys ask me to take it to the door, or however you phrase it, when I get out of here, I won't have any probation. So I thought maybe this would be a different set of circumstances.
Okay. Why do you understand DOC has denied you a halfway house release?
They haven't, no one said anything about that yet. I have been denied.
That is what I read.
I did too.
When was that?
We should also put on the record that on the 19th of March, we received a letter from the state's attorney in the Stanford Norwalk Judicial District objecting to you being released from incarceration or any modification of the conditions of your sentence. So we have the state's attorney weighing in your case.
Did anybody catch his name?
Just want to make sure you understand you have 2 standing criminal protective orders against you. They're full no contact orders through the year 2064. Can you tell me what you understand that means?
You guys should Google this guy.
I can't have any contact whatsoever with my victims or anything to do with them. And, you know, I've understood that, and
Andrew, okay, thank you.
I feel like I've definitely adhered to that.
This guy's a real piece of work.
You're
Look
not to
him up.
have any contact through social media or third parties, as well as direct in-person contact.
No, I have never attempted to make any contact whatsoever.
This is me being absolutely certain that you understand the restrictions that are imposed on you by virtue of having a standing criminal protective order against you.
First name is
Yes, ma'am, I
Andrew.
understand that.
Okay.
Last name is KNAPP.
You indicate, or the evaluation of you indicates that you have learned ways to cope with stress. Can you tell me what those are?
Meditation, breathing exercises, sports, and you know, I've learned a lot of patience and acceptance in jail. Because if you can't learn patience here, you can't learn it anywhere.
Yeah, I believe so.
Summary refers
Connecticut.
to your cognitive distortions.
Just type in
that,
Connecticut arrest.
You have struggled with. Can you tell me what some of those are?
I guess in the past, I felt like because of some issues that I had when I was younger, and you know, some things that I myself went through, that I felt maybe I had like a victim complex or something like that. But you know, I've gotten older. I've realized that I'm the only person that has any what to do with life. There's no one else that can take accountability for my actions, and there's no one else that can serve my sentence. I am the end all of whatever happens in my life.
Are there other cognitive distortions that you're aware of
No, ma'am.
that especially put you at risk?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
You don't think so?
How about treating kids in your life as peers and not showing the appropriate restraint for the position that you hold in relation to any given child?
All right, so yeah, those were definitely issues that I dealt with in the past. I definitely, I think, related too well to the kids. I was too, available as a peer when I should have kind of held myself to a higher standard. So that's definitely something I dealt with in the past. But I know now that even though, in some ways I was a good teacher, that's not something I can do anymore. I realized that for a while. That's definitely not something I plan on doing in my future. That's not a cognitive distortion I've dealt with for some time now. I have no desire to work anywhere near kids. I just, I would like to do something that, utilizes some skills that I have, but I know that that's one area that I can never go back to.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what he's going to get into next.
Can you talk to me about what healthy boundaries look like between adults and children?
So
why is he laughing?
In my circumstance, I can't have anything to do with them, period. I've learned in the class how to just avoid those situations altogether. And ultimately, if something comes down to it where I'm in a situation, is just escape that situation. So because of my past, my boundaries are no contact whatsoever. So that's how I plan on living my life going forward.
Maybe some castration.
So you failed to maintain appropriate boundaries with the children you previously had contact with and then subsequently victimized. Why do you think that was?
In the past, I definitely had issues with boundaries, like you said. And I had some occupational risk factors. That's something I learned in class where, I chose to work with kids when I deep down, I knew that was bad decision. And
my question to you is why?
Why was it a bad decision?
No, why?
Why did you do it?
Did you not maintain healthy boundaries? You were obviously getting something out of being inappropriate, or as you put it, too available to the children that you had under your care.
I guess maybe I struggled with maintaining appropriate relationships with other adults. I tried to kind of replace those relationships. But like I said, that's definitely something that's in my past. I have no plans of trying to work with kids in the future.
So you were having, you were using the contact with children to meet your own emotional needs?
I guess you could say that. Okay.
I'm asking you, is that the case?
I don't want to act, I don't want to seem like you're putting words in my mouth. I guess I never gave this that much thought. I know that it definitely was a bad choice taking that job because of some issues that I struggled with. Just my own emotional needs. But like I said, that's not an issue that I currently am dealing with. I have no contact with kids in my life whatsoever.
Well, you're incarcerated. So,
Yeah, I
you
know that.
So I'm going to read to you what's in the evaluation, because
Sure.
apparently you're not as clear as the evaluation portrays it. It says that you noted the emotional need being met through your problematic sexual behavior. In that moment, you were feeling loved, and you use sex as coping skill to manage negative emotions, including anger.
So what that was talking about, I think you kind of took that out of context.
She wasn't. I beg to differ.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't mean to offend you. I thought
Yeah.
with the packet that I filled out, that was talking about sex in general. So sex with adults, that was talking about. In terms of my offense, that was more of I don't think I tried to use that to feel loved or anything like that. It was definitely just a terrible decision I made, and
decision.
There definitely was
terrible.
No, that's not true. I'm sorry.
But it kind of fits with your suggestion that you struggle with adult relationships. That relationships involve feelings and emotions. So you were replacing that with whatever boundaries you were crossing with the children in your care.
Okay.
Did in any of the programming that you've done so far, was the issue of grooming addressed?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Do you identify behaviors that you were engaged in at the time that constituted grooming?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I read about it from the perspective of the victim's mother.
Mm-hmm.
In the pre-sentence investigation, she was pretty clear about
I'll be right back.
Seeing things in hindsight that she didn't pick up on, but were red flags. So when you were interviewed by the parole officer in preparation for today, you made a statement that stood out for me. You said you'd rather be a saint for a year than the next 5 years. What did you mean by that?
I don't recall saying that specifically. I'd rather be a saint for a year than the next 5 years. I think maybe what I was referring to is that the thought of doing a year of parole, because some of the restrictions are a little bit onerous and make it tough to be like a participating member of society. Like I know when I was on probation, we couldn't have smartphones, we couldn't really use email. So it was tough to get some jobs that I was interested in and things like that. But if that's just something that is going to be part of my life for a year, then that's a little bit less daunting than having to deal with that for 5 years. I think that's what I was referring to. Because when I got out of jail last time.
You did comment that you were given too many restrictions on probation. It won't be any different on parole. The conditions that I've written down already include device monitoring and restrictions on pornography.
Yep. I mean, I have no problem with, pornography or anything like that. That is not at all. I think that's entirely appropriate. I just had trouble with, a lot of jobs now, when you show up for an interview, the first thing they ask you is what's your email. They expect to communicate with you almost exclusively over the internet. So when I couldn't do that on probation, I just found that was the hardest thing that I struggled with.
So you indicated when you were in the short-term sex offender program there in the facility, that if you were granted parole, you would have about a year, and you noted that you would just grin and bear it in hopes they have your best interests at heart.
Well, no, so, okay, that again was, I think, kind of taken out of context. So what I meant by that is, I am, no matter, even if I disagree with some of the restrictions placed on me, I know I'm capable of following whatever guidelines I need to follow, jumping through whatever hoops I need to jump through, to make my life successful over the next year. I know that that's something that I'm capable of. And it's not as, like I said, it's not as daunting as having to do that over a 5-year period. And yeah, I do hope that parole has my best interests at heart. I've never dealt with parole before. I've only dealt with probation. Not sure what the differences are, but you know, I know in the past from talking with people that were incarcerated, some people had parole officers that they thought went the extra mile and really helped them to, you know, reduce recidivism and become a valued member of the community. And if I am granted parole, I hope that that's something I can experience.
You would be under the sex offender management unit. Parole officers have arrest powers, so you violate your conditions and you're brought back to prison. It's not a process of documenting like we have here, all of your failures to report, all of your manipulation around which gym you're working out at, your use of ecstasy, you know, and documenting all of that, and then trying different methods to intervene with you before going before a judge with a warrant to then go out and arrest you. Be a much faster process. So tell me this, Mr. Knapp. You're so very confident that you can manage the 1 year remaining on your sentence and be in compliance. Why were you not doing that when you were on probation?
I think, like I said, I had too many lifestyle risk factors. I was living at my parents' house, and like I said, you know, I don't want this to make this like I'm asking for pity. It has nothing to do with my parole, but my mom was going through a lot of health issues, and so my parents really couldn't worry about me. You know, I'm an adult, I made my own decisions, but I definitely just started hanging out with some friends that weren't great influences. And I put myself in a position where it was possible to reoffend. First year or so I was out.
I'm gonna stop you there. I'm gonna stop you there because you were actually actively working against your probation supervision and your problem sexual behavior treatment contract. When they did the residential search of your bedroom, they found a host of inappropriate, disallowed things. And I don't think that was the influence of friends.
Did I miss anything?
And then they went ahead and they gave you permission to attend a certain gym between school hours, and you took it upon yourself to go to another location, and the Greenwich Police Department received complaints from the staff at the gym because the children were telling them that a creepy man was watching them.
Damn. His arrogance.
So far I have acted with your
what happened?
I missed the last 2 minutes that you just said. You guys were frozen on the screen.
What I was saying to you, sir, is that you were actively working against both your supervision and your treatment when you were out on probation. And, you know, none of that seems to be the influence of friends, except maybe the drug use, or your parents, you know, having their focus on your mom and her health issues. Yeah. So, you know, these are choices that you were making, fully aware of the contracts that you signed for probation and problem sexual behavior treatment, and you were sabotaging your own progress.
Yeah, and I take accountability for that. I do take accountability for that.
But you're sitting here absolutely confident that you can white knuckle it through 1 year of parole successfully.
I'm not asking to white knuckle. I don't want that to be your thought. I do want to utilize whatever help I can get on the outside. And while I've been in here, I don't have any DRs. I have no problems with the staff. I've just kept my head down and focused on getting through this time. And I think I'm at a stage in my maturity that I can handle that on the outside as well.
I'm concerned for you because you do have addiction services on your OAP, and you were actively abusing substances while on supervision. And, that's going to interfere with your ability to avoid the cognitive distortions and some of the other contributing factors in this case. So
I've been entirely sober now for the entire period that I'm incarcerated. And I'd like to continue that on the outside. I'm not saying that I don't have these issues. I'm admitting to these issues and I'm asking for help.
But you're arrogant. You're an arrogant bastard. That hasn't changed. Those tendencies.
Madam Chair, I don't have any more questions for Mr. Now.
Thank you, Ms. Turner.
I'm gonna push for a rubber stamp. This one denied.
Good morning, sir.
They should have denied him a long time ago.
My colleague has asked almost all the questions that I had. I'm also concerned about the addiction services part of this. Have they ever offered you the program? You have it on your OAP, but you haven't.
No. I took it. My last sentence. This jail that I'm, McDougal right now. It takes a lot longer to get into programs here. When I was in Cheshire, I did tier 2 when I was there. I did commercial cleaning. I did carpentry. I was a tutor. There, if you wrote and asked for a job or be in a program, you were placed in a program within a week or two. Here, if you have under a year at this facility, it's very, very hard to get into programs. The problem sexual behavior they got me into, because I know it was on my OAP, but I've asked to be in tier 2. I've asked to be in voices, and they both told me that they said I was on the waiting list. That's all. I've heard that about a job. I've heard that about other programs. So that's something that I definitely would be, eager to do in the community if I am granted release.
Have you ever been?
I need a shot of Pruno right now.
In the community, have you had a period of sober time in the community?
Yeah, so I lived in a sober house in East Haven right before I came into jail. And while I was there, we had 12-step programs in the house, and we would occasionally go out to 12-step programs in the community. I was going to 3 or 4 a week on average. So it is something I've done in the past, and it's something I definitely am interested in doing.
2 to 3, what a week, kids? What are we talking about here?
We're talking about cognitive distortions and making decisions.
Thank you.
Entering substance abuse into all of this is just, making it much worse for you.
Mario, my apologies.
It definitely is an area that has to be addressed for me to feel comfortable with all of this. I wish you would have been able to take a program before you came before us today,
Okay.
So, all right, that's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask Officer Torres, can you look up, so I'm looking at the DIS from his last period of incarceration. Granted, it was June of 2017. It indicated he hadn't done any programs. He went out to probation in October of 2020. Did he do tier 2 between 2017 and 2020? Can you find that?
It's scary. You know what? And it's scary.
I actually did that. I did it in Brooklyn, I think, actually.
It says in this DIS, in today's under.
I had it up.
It does say during his previous incarceration, he completed tier 2 in 2018.
Okay.
It's in the current DIS.
If you haven't done so, please do so.
But I
Hit
mean,
that
he says
follow button. It's free
problems,
99. Are you out of your mind?
After that.
And also check out my other YT
I also
page
was in residential rehab in
at CollectCallFrom.
2024, and that's something I'm interested
Kim.
in pursuing after my release.
Okay. So, Mr. Knapp, our question and answer period is over now. We're going to deliberate about your case and give you our decision.
I'm
Please
putting
don't
for a
interrupt.
deny.
You can listen. Please
I say
do not
deny.
interrupt. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Deny. He doesn't deserve. Thank you for that heart. I appreciate it.
As I've pointed out, Mr. Knapp was unsuccessful in a variety of ways
There's a
while he
poll.
was on probation. for the underlying crime in which a child was victimized sexually.
It's all bad.
He has, since coming back to prison on the VOP, participated and completed track 1, seems to have some new understandings. I know that the evaluation looking at it,
he's not sorry, but he is sorry.
2017 problem sexual behavior treatment evaluation. So you know, he appeared to violate in ways that undermined his participation in problem sexual behavior treatment in the community.
Hey, what up, Jill?
He appears to have some new insights to work with.
Hey, thank you for sharing, Kimberly. Highly appreciate that.
An interest in additional treatment and therapy, which I think is very much needed, and you know, something that I hope he has the resources for. I will not be voting him discretionary parole today.
Woo, we got to celebrate for that one.
The poor performance on community release.
Hey, thank you, Laura.
Nature and circumstance of the offense. And
1 denied, 2 more to go.
I just I'm not quite there finding him suitable.
Hell yeah.
For discretionary parole. And as I pointed out, he was denied before going out to probation, which he has subsequently violated. So
let's
I'm
get
going to
another
say
one.
no, and again acknowledge the input from the state's attorney objecting.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. Mr. Sezastis.
I agree.
So do I. I have inadequate program participation. We talked at length about his substance abuse issue and his lack of treatment there in the facility. I do hear that he completed the treatment when he was out in the community.
Thank you for that.
And he has maintained his sobriety, but there are other programs. He could have used a refresher course because
well, he's not even doing.
He was way too cocky, right?
So
let's see if
I had that as a condition, as a reason for denial. And I'm sorry, I started to write down what you were saying, Ms. Turner.
Poor performance on community release.
I haven't,
Poor
Kay.
performance on community release.
I have not. I'll double check.
I mean, the underlying nature and circumstance of the offense is quite disturbing. And I'll cite in the written decision the state's attorney's opposition.
Thank you. So we're ready with our official decision. So with regard to Andrew Knapp, 405-798, I move to deny discretionary parole based on his poor performance on community supervision, the nature and circumstance of his underlying offense, and his inadequate program participation. He will not receive a new hearing. Is there a second?
Hell yeah.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there something you wanted to add? No.
One of these. I want to add one of these.
So, Mr. Knapp, you will receive all of this in writing, sir. We could not support your discretionary parole today. We do wish you the best.
No, you don't. So you want me to just finish my sentence all the way?
Yep. Absolutely.
So when I get out, I'll have no supervision. I'll have no support from the state. None of that.
Yeah.
Correct?
Absolutely.
That is our decision for you to EOS. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. And do you have in writing that I was denied a halfway house also? Because I haven't heard anything about that.
I would talk to whoever your counselor is there in the facility to obtain.
Hey, just think about what he just said right now.
Mrs. Walker, I think it was, the lady closest to me, said something about that, and I haven't received that in writing.
Okay. So it says that Officer Lanier reviewed your case on March 10th, 2025, and did not and denied your community release. So again, that's something that you need to speak with someone in.
That's what I got too, Heather.
And her name is not Walker. Her name is Turner.
Damn.
This is Miss Turner right here.
That is
Checkmate.
Miss Turner.
And you're Miss Walker?
I'm not Miss Walker. I'm not sure who Miss Walker.
Oh, it says
It
John
Stop pointing.
Walker up on the screen.
That's our psychologist here at the board. So she's watching our hearings.
Why did you guys move my hearing up a month and then deny me?
Mr. Knapp, listen, it's over and done with. You've been
Yeah, no, I
denied,
understand
sir.
that.
Good luck. Thank you. We have another person to see. Thank you.
Yeah.
This concludes the hearing for Andrew Knapp.
Can't record.
Up next on The Price is Wrong, the nerve of this guy talking about you just gonna let me out just like that. What was that supposed to mean? I thought you were rehabilitated. What happened? What happened, homeboy over there talking a good one? Yeah, serve that out. Have fun in prison. Hopefully, I wish him the worst, if you will. Anyhow, hey, if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. We're about to have 500 people watching on one of the streams. Highly appreciate you guys. Where are you guys tuning in from? Do we got anybody from the UK? Do we have anybody from Scotland, from Ireland, from Australia, from the US, from Mexico, Central America, South America, Canada, Hawaii, Alaska, and anywhere else that I missed, if you will? That's right, Canada. Hell yeah, London, Florida, UK. Yup. Appreciate you guys. Ontario, Canada, Arizona, proud here. That's right. And for those of you that don't know, I got multiple streams going on. I got 2 TT accounts, and I have 5 streams running on YT. So if my channel ever goes down, always make sure you go check in on YT. It's the same name. It's right here, completely located on the screen.
Officer Torres. Today
At
is Wednesday,
CollectCallFrom.
March 26, 2025, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. If all the board members are present this morning, by stating their names on the record, certify they have viewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning. I'm panel member Barry.
Good morning, Robert Sazowski.
Nancy Turner.
Good morning.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Matthew Frazier, inmate number 396326.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Matthew Frazier, number 396326. He is serving a sentence of 4 years flat for 3 counts of violation of probation for underlying sex assault second and criminal violation of a restraining order. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of March 20th, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows the offender completed embracing fatherhood, short track sex offender program.
Oh, another one.
He has also been involved in the Yale prison education courses.
It's all bad.
Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism.
Did anybody get his name?
Utilizing the static 99.
Drop one,
the
flush one.
offender's overall score for sexual offense recidivism falls within the moderate high range. Mr. Fraser, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole.
Hey, thank you for that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I believe parole is a privilege. And it's a privilege that I've been trying to earn since I've come in here. I came into this facility 18 months ago. In that time frame, like just stated, I took the sex offender program here. I've been part of the Embracing Fatherhood program. I have 2 sons, Trenton, age 4, and Landon, age 2.
Damn.
I also have taken tier 2 to deal with my addiction. I have been actively participating in AA since September of 2023. I also have been in the Yale Prison Education Initiative, which is college classes through Yale and the University of New Haven. I have 2 semesters down in the paperwork that you guys have. I showed that my first semester I had 4.0s in the 2 classes that I could take during the summer. And then in the fall, I hadn't got my grades back yet, but for the fall semester, I took 3 classes
and I got 3 4.0s as well. So over 2 semesters and 5 classes, I've retained a 4.0 grade point average. The classes that you guys don't have information for was an intro to architecture, principles of communications, and then the last one was Great Books of the Humanities, Human Nature, which was a philosophy class. And I just wanted to briefly read what the teacher said there, because I think it speaks to how I've been doing in the program as a whole. He said, Matthew Frazier was an excellent student in great books. He prepared carefully for each class, did all his readings, and weekly responses were thoughtful.
Well, if that's the case,
featured fine discussions of awe-inspiring moments in human nature and Sophocles, Antigones, which is a Greek tragedy. His final paper was outstanding, staging a well-organized, insightful conversation between Shakespeare and Rousseau on the harm of society and its unnatural inequality does to human beings. He was respectful and collaborative contribution to the discussions, always bringing his best self to every class. And also currently, I'm still in the program. This semester, I figured that I could take 4 classes and, push what I was able to do. And so far I have 4.0s at least halfway through at the midterms of these classes. And they include ethics, experiments in survival, eugenics, and then the last class is diversity and social justice.
What is it, an infomercial?
On top of doing the Yale Prison Initiative program, I'm also in culinary at the same time. So not only am I also going to college, but I'm also getting on the job or skills that I can use on the job for the type of job that I had when I was out there working at 2 different restaurants before I was incarcerated. And last but not least, I've also been helped with mental health. When I came in here, I realized that I needed help to make sure that my family had a better life than what I was providing them before I came in here. And so for the first time in my life, I asked for help. And I asked mental health to see me. They've been actively working with me, telling me that, I've been doing good with addiction services. They prescribed me antidepressants, and they check up on me once a month to see how I'm doing. And that has made a significant difference in my outlook on life.
Good. Okay, Mr. Frazier, we appreciate all the information that you've provided. We have some questions after reviewing your file. Each of us will take turns to ask those questions, and when we're done, we'll deliberate and give you our decisions. Okay, and Mr. Sazowskis, we'll start with the questions.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you for that opening statement. You answered some of the questions I had about your schooling. Why did you have so much trouble on probation? I mean, that's what this is about. You've never successfully completed probation in the past 3 different times, and each time you keep failing. Can you talk about have you identified what the problem is?
Yeah, it was my negative outlook, pessimistic outlook on myself, my abilities, my substance use issues that I had. I figured that I didn't need any help from anyone, that, I've always been the type of man that tries to do everything himself. I've tried to think that I can be a user, and because I can functionally go to work, I can pay my bills, that's a way that is acceptable to life. My father told me, if you're going to do something, everything needs to be in moderation. Well, that's one thing I never listened to him on, especially with my substance use, was moderation. And I realized this isn't the way that I need my family to go through. I have 2 young sons that are still in diapers that need somebody that can provide for them and be stable. Using drugs, even if I'm functional, isn't functional. It's an unmanageable life, I've realized. And I've taken the time to try to actively work with that. AA has been the biggest help for me in realizing that I'm not alone in this, that other people have gone through it. Working with mental health and being on antidepressants was something that I always thought wasn't for me. And I realized that it doesn't change the person that I am. It makes me have the little bit of help that I needed to be able to become the better person, to be able to go back to school to be able to reach my potential and not feel like I need to use drugs. My whole issue with probation has been that I'm trying to complete probation while I'm trying to use drugs.
12
and
counts of
obviously
failure
that
to
doesn't
register?
work.
Damn.
And it made me make very poor decisions when it came to probation.
Okay, so did you take a tier program previously before this incarceration and another incarceration?
No, I've never taken any drug programs except through probation when I was out on probation. I've never taken anything in DOC.
So you think that this tier program has helped you?
Yeah, I believe that it helped me identify some of the triggers that I have, some of the warning signs that I have, and then AA, I was able to bring up some of the discussions there and continue to work with AA because Tier 2 isn't quite too long of a program. AA, I've been going since before Tier 2 and since after as well. And so that's how I've been staying active with my recovery beyond just the program is through AA as well.
You know where the AA meetings are held in the area where you want to live?
Yeah, so I know for a fact that before I came in, I was trying to attend some. I knew that I needed help, and so I started looking them up, and there is an AA meeting in Stafford, the town that I was living in, which is one town over from when I'm paroling. It's at Sun Valley, and if I have to remember correctly, it's either Saturday or Sunday morning. And then I also know of one that I did attend that is on every Wednesday at the Methodist Church in Ellington, which is on Route 140. I don't know of any in Summers itself, but I do actively know of at least two that I, went to one and at least knew of the other one.
Okay, good. Do you have a sponsor on the outside, or is that something you plan to try to do?
Yeah, so I would like to have a sponsor. I talk with the individual that does our meetings here is Dave. And so he said that when I get out there, if you show up at a meeting and say, I just got out of incarceration, I need somebody to help, the type of program it is everybody's going to help. He said that from here, he could get in trouble for helping us get a sponsor or for sponsoring us as himself, his prison commitment here.
I understand that. You took the sex offender treatment program, you said, it's incarceration, right? How has that helped you?
It's reinforced what I've learned through the connections. I had taken the connections the whole time that I've been on probation. And, it was I haven't been part of it because I was on violation status. So it was a refresher of some of the key issues that I had faced back during my offense, which were, cognitive distortion, having poor problem solving, which I, obviously still had on probation, at least in regards to substance use. It helped me, realize that the mistakes that I made back then didn't define me as a person. It made me be able to be a better person because I was able to deal with what I did wrong and be able to see what I did wrong and know that that wasn't the way to view things back then. I was, I thought I was above the law back then, and that wasn't the case.
Okay. There's a note here said, when I was reading through your interview with the parole officer and some of the other documents, it says that you were dating someone underage and didn't know it at first, and then you found out and continued.
Yes, that is true.
So how old were you? How old were you when this started?
When I started, I was 21. It lasted for about 4 months.
You were not able at 21 years old to tell that the person was 15 years old, not old enough to, not your age?
Don't lie.
That was
Don't lie.
part of the cognitive distortion. She was not attending high school, and
Don't lie.
Again, it's plainly put, cognitive distortion. I wanted to believe what I wanted to believe.
Yeah.
I wanted to think what I wanted to think. And, like I said, is that once I found out, it was one of those things that
You
I
found
said,
out.
oh, that doesn't apply to me.
Relax,
I'm
shallow
okay
Hal.
because we've been together, and that's, part of, the issue that I had is even when I could have made the right choice back then, I still decided to do whatever Matt wanted to do, and that was not the right way to think.
This guy.
And at some point you found out, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And you did, like you said in your statement, you continued.
Yes, I did.
Okay. You know, from reading through the documents, it appears to have been some violence involved, according to what I read. Involved in that situation. And, you know, you have anger management on your OAP. Have you had an opportunity to take that?
They have just added it to my OAP. When I took my last review, which was, sorry, just 1 second. So my last review was on, apologize, I have so many from Yale in here.
This guy. You know what? The first thing that should have came
My
out of his
last
mouth
review was on
should have been about his treatment.
10/1/24. And I've written to them. I have a couple of requests here about taking anger management, and they just say that I'm on the waiting list for it.
Okay.
Back when I was younger, sorry.
No, I want to hear what you have to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Back when I was younger, I know that I had an anger problem. Not specifically pertaining to the case, but just in general. I had a very negative outlook, and you know, before any of this incarceration, I learned to deal with that and to accept the things that I can, and you know, that I can change, that I can do. I've learned to, you know, not get so mad at everything. And for at least the past 10 years, I've not had any issues with anger. I actually found out through my ethics class that it's called Stoic, is actually the kind of philosophy that I took. And so my next paper in there is going to be on Stoic, because he gave us a book to choose from, 3 books, and that was one of them. And when I read it, I realized that's the approach that I taught myself, to not be so angry at everything, and it's greatly helped me. So I'm very interested in taking that paper.
Yeah. And I mean, do you think that you could learn some tools from taking that anger management class?
I mean, I'm always up for learning new techniques, new ways to deal with things. That's, you know, what I approach my college on. Yeah. That's why I try to get into all the programs, because as human beings, we can always learn something new, even if we don't think that we can.
Okay. Let's talk about, how do you think your actions have affected the victim long term? Like, how do you feel like they've been affected by what happened?
So when I was in a relationship with her, it was objectifiable. You know, it was based upon sex. It wasn't based upon actual, you know, real caring for each other. I negatively impacted how she may view, how men view women. I may have impacted her negatively on how she views herself. I've realized that my actions as an adult can greatly influence other people, especially people that are underage, that are susceptible to, you know, still developing mentally. That she may be, you know, somebody that doesn't view herself the same because of the actions that I took, that she may only view herself as, you know, what am I trying to say? Physical is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if that's the best word, but that there's many different ways that you can mentally change somebody's worldview and how to view themselves, how to view the world, and how to take interactions in future relationships that they may or may not have. And I realized that before this incarceration, through the connections, we talked quite a bit about that when I did my autobiography with them.
Okay, yeah, those are the kinds of things that you know, they teach in the Voices program. You have that on your OAP also. Have you heard anything about taking that?
I have at least 6 or 7 requests here in 18 months. They say that because I'm too far from my EOS to get into the program. And so they said I'm on a waiting list until I get closer to EOS, or until parole makes that a mandatory thing.
Yeah, okay. And then you had troubles with the sex offender registry too, you know, I read. I mean, why would you have so much trouble with that? It doesn't, you know, it's just a reporting situation. What was going on?
So I take full responsibility for that. I did not realized that I needed to send the first letter. So if I had not sent the first letter in enough time, when I would get the second letter, I would send that and never send the first one. And I greatly made a mistake not realizing that any letter ever sent, I should have just sent back. And I made the poor assumption to only send the most recent letter, not any letter that I had. And so that's how I have so many violations over so many years, is from not sending that first letter to them, but only sending the next letter if I had missed the timing.
Do you think drugs, play a role and you're not paying attention to detail?
Absolutely. And then there'd be, absolutely. And then there are times that during that I would get the letter and then I would forget about it because, I was too high. Drugs absolutely played a role in not prioritizing things and also not about my life in a manner that was timely, in a manner that, like, I was always late to work and stuff like that. I would show up to work, but I was late. And that's what I was meaning by I was functional, but I wasn't having a manageable life. And that was the distortion that I had with my drug use, is that I thought because I'm paying my bills, because, I'm just hovering in probation, I'm not excelling, I'm just hovering, that I'm getting by. And getting by isn't a way to go through life. That's not a way to go through life. And that's what I was doing for so many years.
Do you know when your sex offender registry ends? Are you aware of when that is, the date?
Not the exact date. I do know that I have 2 years or so left on it, from what I remember from going to court. I do not know exactly if it's under 2 years or over 2 years, but it's about that amount of time.
Yeah, I have a sooner date records, but I was just curious if you understand.
Yes, I do.
And that would end. All right. So you were in the problem sexual behavior program out in the community, and yes. Same thing with the probation, with the sex offender registry. You've had trouble completing it and going and everything else. Did you ever finish that, or you were violated before you?
Are you asking for the connections program?
Yeah.
Did I complete that? So I have not completed that yet. I have gone all the way until my treatment goal 6, which is the final thing before completing. And the only reason I did not complete is because I was in violation status when COVID happened. And before that, they said that until you get off violation status, they didn't feel right with me finishing my treatment goal 6 to be discontinued from the program, or graduate the program is a better word, until I became active again in probation.
So I mean, it's just a lot. You have, 3 violations of probation, and you have never completed probation successfully.
This is his 4th violation.
4th now, yeah. And so you've had a problem with the sex offender registry. You were on probation when this happened. You couldn't complete the sex offender program in the community. You just see all these things start piling up. When we're looking at parole and how suitable you might be for success, I do appreciate all the programs that you've done in this educational program, the culinary, everything you're trying to reach out. I hear in your voice, that you want to do better and you're trying to get past all of this. Can you just, you talked about the Yale program. So you're registered through May? Is that what you're registered through right now?
Yes, that's the end of the spring semester.
And then if you're still incarcerated, you intend to take classes over the summer?
I can take classes until I am released, yeah.
What's your plan? I know you have a lot of other stuff to deal with and everything, but do you have a plan for education, after? Because you may not complete it while you're incarcerated.
I have a plan for not only education, but also for employment and that kind of stuff. I have a long-term and a short-term plan if you wanted to hear it.
Well, just tell me about education right now. You're taking classes with Yale and University of New Haven. Sounds like a partnership between them with the prison system. And is there a plan with them for you to continue with them, or do you have to finish somewhere else if you're outside?
So the plan as it stands right now, if I am granted parole, what will happen is I'll be able to finish up any classes I have through the program that I'm in right now. On the outside, I can complete these classes, Then for the summertime, they're going to help me transition to either Manchester Community College or as Nantucket Community College, which I can do online or in person. And the reason why I would be transferring to them and not going to continue with Yale is because obviously Yale is very expensive.
Yeah.
And they have a program called a scholarship, I should call it, the Eli Whitney Scholarship. And so what it is you have 2 referrals, you take multiple prompts for them, you do an interview with them, and they give you a full scholarship to Yale. And not only do they give you a full scholarship, but they also pay you $9,000 a semester, so that way you don't have to work and you can be a full-time student. And the deadline for that ended on March 20th to apply for it. So I have to wait until next year to apply for it. But with taking classes, I can get recommendations from Yale professors. I have perfect grade point average. I'm already scholarship eligible for just general academia. So like if I wanted to go to UConn, I have $30,000 based upon my grade point averages being over 3.7 that I can get into UConn with, along with the Pell would make it about $3,700 or sorry, $37,000 that I would have towards UConn's tuition. So my options are very open, even if I didn't get the Eli Whitney.
Man, we got a regular old brainiac over here going to Yale and todo this madre.
Yeah, I want to become a statistician.
Okay. Good. It sounds like your thinking is clear, about the future. Now, I read some information that you have a short-term plan of going back to work at a restaurant that you previously worked at. Is that true?
Yes, and so that's why it was great that culinary started up when I came in here, because I was working actually 2 restaurants when I came in for the same owner. I was working 12, up to 16-hour days to try to support my family. And I had no idea what I was doing in the kitchen, honestly. I'd only ever managed Dunkin' Donuts. I was a store manager for Dunkin' Donuts, which is nothing like cooking actual food. And so I learned immensely in this culinary program. And now when I actually go back to that job, I have complete confidence in myself, which I didn't have before, and what I know and what I didn't, from what I didn't know back then. My fiance is friends, or my fiance's father is friends with the owner. That's how I got the job. And the gentleman's just waiting for me to come back and show up at his door to start working again.
Okay. Sometimes people will submit a document to us that says that, we were going to offer him this opportunity when he's released from incarceration, if everything goes as planned. Did you get anything in writing from them?
No, but I mean, obviously I don't have it today, but I could get that easily.
Okay. That sometimes it's helpful for us, just besides you saying it, to have something from someone else that shows that there are people willing to help you and give you a chance to work,
I can also tell you that the 2 restaurants are Ellington Pizza, and the other one is Benny's Banquet, which is in Vernon. The other one, obviously, Ellington. And the owner of those restaurants also owns the Hilltop in Wellington. And if you call that restaurant the Hilltop, he's there all the time. He'll take a call from you guys.
Well, yeah. So that's for you to get the information provided to us. So
okay, so
might be something that you might be able to work on later. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Those are all the questions I have for you today, sir. I'm going to pass on to my colleagues and see what they might want to ask you.
All right, thank you.
That was good. Ms. Turner?
So I read the evaluation of your participation in the short-term group. You finished that in January of last year. And then in May, you had another evaluation by the connection where the same organization you had been in treatment with. And a couple of things stood out for me. You continue to assert that the sexual contact with the victim was consensual.
Yes. So when I was originally charged, I was only charged with 2nd-degree sexual assault.
Only?
I didn't plead down to that.
Only?
not,
But
well,
the
compared to
nerve.
what you're saying, degree sexual assault.
Hey, what up? This
Also, I've taken a polygraph with the connections, not only in my case, but ever in my life have I used coercion,
Okay.
force, or anything like that. I answered no, and I had passed that question.
Okay. But you do realize that the victim's account of what happened to her, what you did to her, varies greatly. When she declined in the car to have sexual relations with you, you forcibly restrained her and choked her while undressing her, and then penetrated her.
damn.
When you were asked
What do you got to
by
say
the
now?
connection about the crime, you said, we were dating, I did it, she was under 15, it was consensual. She was just mad that I broke up with her.
Wow.
That doesn't even fit the narrative of what went down in this relationship with the victim. I mean, it was really hard to read that she became suicidal, was using marijuana with you, and the day she came home from treatment for her mental health, you picked her up and she snuck out of the house, and some of this continued. So you completed treatment inside, you did some on the outside, and in the evaluation, you were asked to define consent.
Don't forget about his
Can you
GPA.
tell me what your
4.0.
definition of consent is?
Yeah. So my definition of consent is somebody that is over the age of 18, is willing to say yes. They're not showing a different, it's not even vocalized, it's also body language, because somebody can say yes, but their body can say otherwise. And so through the connections, they've taught us those types of cues, that body language is one of the most important things to visualize, because somebody can feel pressured to give consent and they're saying yes, but they're timid. They're shaking or anything like that. That's not somebody that's willingly giving consent. That's somebody that feels that they need to be able to say yes, even though they want to say no.
A child can't consent.
Is a full action. It's
pretty
not,
simple.
It's not just a vocal words.
A child cannot consent. It's not rocket science.
Is consent something that either partner can retract while
of course
engaging in intimacy?
Absolutely. And previous intimacy can also, not mean further intimacy. I remember us specifically in the connections talking about the case in California where somebody had slept with somebody else and then woke them up with sex when that person didn't want it, and they
woke
were going
them
on trial
up
for that. You can't consent if you're not awake. That was the problem.
And like you're saying, one instance
went
of
left.
consent does not mean that you have consented to all contact of a sexual nature going forward.
Absolutely. And currently
So, Mr. Frazier, in the evaluation from last May, you told the connection that you know when someone wants to have sex. You said, I know when it's my girlfriend.
But let's not forget he got a 4.0 GPA at Yale. Thank you, Kelly.
What does that mean?
So what I mean by that is I'm in a committed relationship with the mother of my two children. We've been together for over 5 years now, and I know
But
her
you
body
considered
language.
the victim in this case your girlfriend at the time, didn't you?
I don't know if I hate this guy more though. For the other guy, which one do you dislike the most? The arrogant one or this
when
one?
I was with the victim when I was 21 years
Thank
old.
you, Night Owl.
I did consider her my girlfriend at that time.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So it seemed like you were carrying on that cognitive distortion that consent to sex once means that it's a foregone conclusion. You said you expected that you could have regular sexual intercourse with the victim because you were dating her.
Yeah, and that absolutely was a cognitive distortion that I had back then. I didn't have.
I just don't understand why your answer in May of last year about consent, when you know someone wants to have sex with you, wasn't more nuanced, that it wasn't recognizing that, I mean, somebody could be your girlfriend for months before you have intimacy.
So
and
I think
it doesn't give you any
He's not living in
rights
reality.
to sexual
He's out of touch.
gratification or sexual contact.
I think what I was trying to say there, and I didn't vocalize it very well, was that by being in a committed relationship, I've learned how to respect her boundaries. I've learned through, my past behaviors, through my past mistakes, through everything that I've learned on how to be able to talk to her, how to be able to read her body signs, like how I just mentioned, how to be able to know what is acceptable to her. And not even just sexually, just, sometimes people don't want to be touched. When you're in a relationship living with somebody, sometimes you just want their own space. I've learned that types of stuff. Boundaries, exactly. And so that's what I was trying to articulate when I said that, was not how it came out. It came out very poor, but what I'm saying is that I learned how to respect in a relationship those type of boundaries, how to respect her as a person.
What was happening in the relationship was very concerning to me. And it threw up a lot of red flags when I was reading, the account of the crime and what the victim shared with the police. She said that you were very controlling. You wouldn't allow her to hang out with her friends. You made her give you all her passwords to her social media accounts and her email so that you could be monitoring it.
Straight psycho,
and
possessive.
This all screamed to me low self-esteem. And so it was interesting to read in your participation in the problem sexual behavior treatment that you did recognize that as an internal risk factor. And I'm hopeful that, all this effort that you're putting into furthering your education.
Hey, what was his GPA again? Right, Vic.
So that you don't have to tear down your partner in an attempt to control them so you can feel better about yourself.
Absolutely. Before I even came in here, I've learned the best way to say it would be to accept how I was feeling. And I used drugs to try to do that, which got me in trouble with probation. But since being in here, I had mentioned at the beginning in my intro that when I came in here, I realized this wasn't a way to go through life. And for the first time in my life, I said, I need help. And actually meant it, not said it because probation made me say it, not say it because, it was the thing that I should do or somebody's idea of what I should do. I came in here and said that I needed help. I got on antidepressants. I also.
Well, I'm glad that, your private mental health situation should not be broadcast over the hearing as we live stream. But, I'm glad that you've come to some realizations because they were long overdue, sir, with 4 violations of the same period of probation and your deliberate acts to sabotage your own treatment, your own accountability to probation just was nonsense. The efforts and the energy that you put into not complying, if you had put into rehabilitating yourself, you'd have been done with this sentence a very long time ago.
You said exactly what my father said.
What was the fake stuff that you were asking your then girlfriend to buy you in case probation showed up at your house again?
So Again, I was taking drugs and I was scared to, now at this point I had, you know, a son on
Let's
the
cut
way.
to the chase. Was this Wizinator?
I'm sorry?
Was this Wizinator? What were you trying to get her to buy you?
Hadn't
a Wizinator
ever
too?
done it before, but there's stuff at like smoke shops that I had seen when I go in to buy cigarettes. And so whatever they had on the counter there, if that's the name brand, then yes, that's what I was.
To clean your urine or to give so that you can, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Another
And this girlfriend
Wizinator.
at the time, this is now the mother of your children?
Yes, she is, yes.
Damn
Thank
it,
you, Madam
eh?
Chair.
The
I have no more
Wizinator.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. So, Mr. Fraser,
It's
give us a
deja
few
vu.
minutes to talk about
I
your
know.
case, sir, and we will give you our decision shortly.
What do
okay?
you guys
Please don't
think?
interrupt. You're more than welcome.
Does this
to
guy
listen.
deserve to get let out? What's a Wizinator?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
That's the same question I was
So,
asking
Mr.
last
Fraser
week.
is here,
What's a
33 years old
Wizinator?
today.
Hey,
Number
check
of
out the video. I just uploaded. I clipped the
They
video
got
yesterday
into
for the
a
Wizinator.
sexual
Check it out.
Assault second, criminal violation of restraining order.
Ay, ay, ay.
Sex offender
Damn,
registry.
Hey, Wizinator's getting a bad rap with all these SOs buying that
and,
Wizinator.
You know, it has a AOC alcohol drug score of 5.
You
five
laugh
the
the
highest.
best.
Has completed the tier 2 program and the sex
Hey,
offender
if
program.
you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. It's free 99. Are you out of your mind?
Yayo prison education program and culinary vocational program. So he's done some programming. He's not completed anger management voices that are still on his OAP, which he seemed to believe that he benefit from.
Ah, wow.
He rates out as moderate.
Drop one, flush
risk
one.
to recidivate. And, you know, he was on probation at the time of this arrest. He's had struggled with being under supervision, and that gives me great concern. He's got 2 years left on his sentence. So I'm very concerned. I'd like to hear what my colleagues have to say.
Hey, Savannah, you got the jokes.
Ms. Turner?
While Mr. Fraser appears to want more for himself and is beginning to engage in those efforts, both educationally and employment and also recovery. Glad that he's active in addressing his mental health needs. I am not supportive of his release to discretionary parole.
Hell yeah. I second
he
that.
Was making a complete joke out of his probation sentence, which was for an incredibly serious series of offenses involving a very young person who was repeatedly victimized. And I just am not hearing the change across time to be consistent. So
yeah, pack up your little crap in your 4.0 jail. I think it's jail, not Yale. What he was trying to say.
To deny
your little paperwork and get on down
Thank
the
you,
way,
Ms.
homeboy.
Turner. So I went
Wizinator
back
strikes
in his
again.
file and I made sure that I noted each of his violations and how the courts really did try to work with him. And they give him a little bit of incarceration time to get clean, and then he'd go right back out and he would start using drugs again.
Maybe I could get a sponsorship from the Wizinator. What do you guys
It
think?
got to a point where he just absconded and didn't respond at all to the probation or the probation officer. He was discharged twice from treatment negatively. Both times he was out in the community. I show he was scheduled for 18. He had 7 unexcused absences. He was just really doing things that he should not have been doing when he was out in the community. And it was all because
I'm gonna send him a clip of this.
His substance abuse. But in addition, okay, you know what you were supposed to.
Ay.
Street
sponsored by the Wizinator.
That he has a plan in place, hopefully, to be successful when he returns to the community. He continues to have
love and support of his family. It sounds like he has employment ready for him, and he still has a girlfriend who's supportive and siblings. Sounds like he has a viable release plan. So because he already has so many things in place, he's almost done with the sex offender registry. He'll be done with his sentence in 2027, and his prior bouts with supervision in the community did not go well. I think that he should finish his sentence and go out to the community with his plan that he has in place without the overall resources or support that program provides. So my vote too is to deny with no new hearing.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I agree. It's all these violations in the sex offender registry, the treatment in the community, it's a lot.
It is. He was out the last time when he went out on probation, he was out for 121 days and they violated him again. It's just.
So, and I mean, he still has some programs. He should try to finish anger management, try to get into voices. I see a note here that he's halfway house eligible for DOC in September. It's something else that he can pursue, and strengthen his release plan. But I agree with the both of you that for today, because of all the previous violations and everything, I am not.
Hey, but what was his GPA again,
Kelly? Age and circumstances. I don't know if you guys have any different.
Well, I had poor performance on community release because he doesn't have a new conviction. I have nature and circumstance.
Conviction for failure to appear.
Okay, well.
I'm fine with it. I mean, it's, there's plenty.
It reflects.
Sure. Yeah. So, was there a third one that you wanted that we thought we should have? Nature and circumstances and poor performance on community release?
Those are fine, actually.
Okay.
All right, so we're ready with our official decision with regard to Matthew Frazier, 396326. I move to deny discretionary parole with no hearing date based on his poor performance under community supervision and also the nature and circumstance of it. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Frazier, you receive all of this in writing, sir. We couldn't support your parole, and we do wish you the best.
So there's no new chance for a hearing date?
Not from us, no.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Thank you.
This concludes the hearing for Matthew Frazier. This concludes the hearing for Mitchell Walker.
That's what I'm talking about right there. That's a successful board of parole hearing right there. Hey, because you know what? Normally they be letting these fools out. They be letting these fools out like it's the thing to do. So today I'm extremely pleasured to watch this today because they didn't get out. I think that was extremely fair right there. Hopefully most of you are in agreement with me right there. He was a SO. He victimized a child, if you will. And remember, I'm gonna try to go ahead and try to get a sponsorship from the Wizinator. Please use promo code if you will. Hey, I like that comment right there. I'm gonna have to reach out to them, and if I start promoting them, I don't know what I'm gonna use it for because I'm not on probation or parole. So maybe I'll just give my way to the homies when they get out of prison, right? I don't know. The possibilities are endless. Imagine I go meet up with one of the boys when they get out of prison, and I hand them over the Wizinator. Like, here, my boy, you got the Wizinator. Give me some white t-shirts and the Wizinator. Here's your pack. And some sopas and whatnot. Anyhow, hey, I do appreciate you guys, man. Hopefully you guys, get something out of value by watching these board of parole hearings. I know we do laugh a lot, but there is something serious to be learned from this. Is watch your kids, because you never know that one guy, that arrogant dude, he was a teacher, so you never know, where these individuals are at. They could be cops, they could be principals, they could be anywhere and everywhere. Doctors, and I tell that to my daughter. I got a 6-year-old daughter, and I'm like, hey, not everybody that's in these positions are nice. There's some evil people out there that want to do some unspeakable things to you. So if anybody ever tries something funny, you gotta let me and your mom know ASAP, because you never know. They'll go ahead and take advantage of your children if you allow them to try to get over on you, if you will. Anyhow, hey, say what? Let me see right here what it said. Say it louder, James. You know what I'm saying? 100%. Hey, straight up, you gotta keep the kids the kids safe. Especially, I'm trying to keep my daughter safe. I'm the type of person. Me and my wife, my daughter, we don't. She's not allowed to play outside alone. And we live in a, and not to brag, but we live in a decent neighborhood. Like we live in the type of neighborhood that if somebody sees me walking the street, they're gonna call the police on me. And that's the type of neighborhood that I wanted to live in. You know, I lived in LA for 30 years. I lived in one of the worst neighborhoods in LA, where you couldn't even walk around in the daytime, nighttime. It was all bad. So I know what it is like to, you know, come from this environment, like some messed up environments. But, you know, only because I'm not in that environment anymore, my daughter is not going to get those freedoms that I had running around the streets, because you do never know out here. You know, somebody might be, you know, stalking her or whatever, and the first opportunity they get, they're going to try to do something really nasty. So whenever we're out there, she's not playing by herself. Either me and my wife are watching her, or both are watching her. And that's the way it is. I mean, it's a scary world where we live in. Anyhow, hey, different strokes for different folks. It is what it is. You see, I would really like to know what's your search up to. What? I couldn't finish it anyways. Let me see. Anyhow, hey, if you haven't done so, please do so. My daughter, she's 6 years old. She don't know anything. You know, when I tell her, hey, I got to come outside, and she's like, no, Papa, if I see a bad man, I'll run. And I tell her, Mama, you don't know what a bad man looks like, because it could be a man, it could be a woman, or it could be another kid. You don't know. You don't know. So I have to be there to watch, to make sure that nobody tries to take advantage of you till you get to the age where you are able to, you know, make those, you know, decipher those intentions from those individuals. You get them right here. You want the streams, you got them right here. If you don't want to check them here, you could also check them out on YT. I run these streams Monday through Friday on a daily basis at CollectCallFrom. If I'm not on TT, most likely, you know, 9 out of 10 times I'm gonna be on YouTube. You know, so that's where you can capture them. You want to watch them? That's where it is. I'm not gonna provide you with the direct links, if you will. Locked and loaded and nearby. That's right. That's the way to do it. James is the best. Hey, thank you. Highly appreciate that. And CollectCallFrom Resonator. You forgot the if you will. But yeah, hey, if you're following me on TT, please follow me on YT. You know, we're trying to get to 10,000 subs on YT. We're also about to be hitting 10,000 subs on the smaller account on TT. The bigger account is about to be hitting 20,000. So, hey, I really, truly appreciate every single one of you that jump on here every day, whether you're tapping, you're not tapping, whether you're dropping comments, if you're lurking. Hey, either way, I appreciate you guys, because you guys are making me, or you guys are helping me, you know, get to that level. Hopefully one day where you know, it becomes something, if you will, because, hey, I'm not trying to go to work every day. I want to be right here chilling with you guys, giving you guys your viewing pleasure, if you will. Let me see. We appreciate you too. That's right. And another thing, you know, for you guys, straight up, I'm not looking for any gives or anything like that. But what I am looking for you is, I already told you, you know, I'm looking for the follows. I'm looking for likes. I'm looking for the comments. And also, if you could guys go ahead and repost my videos, that'll definitely help me out, you know, to get into the creator program, get into the creator fund, if you will, because that's the ultimate goal right here, you know, to try to get into the creator fund and turn this into something. You know, I've been seeing these people be posting up these videos and whatnot. They're getting $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 checks from the creator fund. Hey, I'm trying to get like that, if you will. Yup. Anyhow, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and lurking. Let me see what I missed that. Hey, this is moving too fast. Anyhow, hey, thank you, Kane. Appreciate that 199. Are you out of your mind? Highly appreciate that. It's not necessary, and the reason that I don't push for gifts or whatnot, because honestly, guys, I know it's rough out there. I know a lot of us are going through it. You know, eggs are freaking expensive. Just food in general is expensive. Rent is expensive. So I'm not gonna try to take away from your family, from your kids, or from your wife or your husband or whatever. You know, I'm already taking enough as it is. I'm taking your time. I'm sure your time is valuable. You know, I got people dropping in the comments that they haven't done anything around the house. Hey, it happens sometimes, and you know, I definitely could relate to that feeling, because you know, I've been on here 3, 4, 5 hours. I don't even know how many hours I've been on here already, and I haven't done anything around the house. So you know what's gonna happen when I walk out this room, right? Right when I walk out, my wife's gonna be right there at work, all stressed out because somebody didn't reply to her message, or somebody didn't meet a deadline, or she sent them an email with some instructions, and all they did was click on a link, and then they get back to her like, hey, what am I supposed to do with the link? So with that being said, you know, I totally digressed to what I was talking about, but I just wanted to give you an insight as far as what I'm about to deal with right now when I get offline. I'm going to hit reality right now. Let me see. I only regret the coins I get on here. I don't spend my money on here. Let me see. You're an absolute gentleman, and not many out here. Yeah, you know what? Like last week, I jumped on and I was checking out the lives, and I'm like, man, like people are pressuring people to give money out where we're not doing good out here. You know, like they put these goals, and it's cool. You know, if that works for you, cool. But that's not me. That's not my. I don't get down like that. It's just not me. You know, I know people will sit there and they'll ask me like, hey, James, like put a goal up. Nah, I can't do that. You know, I can't because it's expensive out there. You know, you guys could help me by watching me on YT, you know, with the ads. Watch those ads on YT. That'll help me, you know, if you will. Anyhow, hey, I'm about to get off. I got to go ahead and I got to get some sleep before I got to go to work. I'm working tonight. I got that late shift. You know, I'm not sure if you guys could tell, but I'm going to go ahead and take it down for a bit. I'm going to go ahead. For those of you that are watching on YT, I'm going to transfer you over to, we still have a court hearing going on in Dade County. So I'm going to transfer you over. You want to go ahead and keep on watching. And if you like watching Maricopa County and Piedmont County, I got those running all day on YT. I'm constantly cycling through them. They run at least like 8 times a day. So you'll definitely, be busy. I say in the chat, even if I'm not running it live here, I'm on the chat. So you'll get some of my comments via chat. Let me see what helps most. For me, what helps me the most is if you watch on YT, to be quite honest with you, because on YT there's those ads, and those ads, the more eyes watching those ads, it helps me out. You know, those pennies start, adding up. So going to YT. So yeah, if you really want to help me out, that's how you can help me out, by watching on YT, dropping comments, and reposting the videos on TT. Anyhow, hey, let me see. What's your channel? My YT channel is the same as this one. It's at CollectCallFrom. And I put it right here. If you see that little line right there, it says all socials at CollectCallFrom. Also, you can find it by going to my profile. I make it easy. You know, I'm not hard to find. You could just type this in on Google at CollectCallFrom, and all my social media accounts will come up, if you will. Anyhow, hey, like I said, I do appreciate you guys. I am CollectCall James. You are watching. You have a CollectCallFrom, and like I said around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that, I'm out. And shout out to the UK, shout out to London, shout out to Britain, shout out to the Irish, if you will, America, Australia, Europe, Germany, Barcelona, España, Mexico, Central America, South America, Hawaii, Asia, and Africa, if you will. Hey, love from the UK. I love you guys. I've been seeing you guys. You guys are 35% of the viewers watching on TT, so I highly appreciate you guys, all right? And with that, I am out. A rato.